What's up, guys? Welcome to my tarot channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. That's me. My name's Annie. Welcome to this All Signs Tarot reading. Please come into the readings with an open heart and an open mind. Take away only what resonates for you and release the rest. Check below for timestamps so you can hop directly to your reading. And do remember to check out the reading for your sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. All right, let's do it. All right, Aries, what's up? Aries, sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. The person you are thinking about, are they still into you? The person from your past that I'm assuming most of you are not necessarily with. Maybe you're in contact. Let's get a little narrative going for whoever is on Aries' mind. Are they still into them? So how is this person currently presenting? Queen of Wands, the Devil. Ooh, sexy, sexy. They wanted to have their cake and eat it too. Let's see. So what are their feelings for Aries currently? They still have decisions, but one weighs out the other in some capacity. One they're holding in very, very high regard, or they're starting to see more value in one connection. I don't know, this kind of says to me like they see you as the long-term prospect. Or for one or two of you, if your person is married, that's what they're currently kind of putting more weight into. So if you were with someone and it was complicated, but they aren't necessarily single, if they're in a committed relationship, especially by marriage, they're going to stay with whoever they're married to. That being said, if you had a person who had fear of commitment and you had a very sexual based connection, it's, sorry, we're going to get sassy in these readings, but it's like they want another taste. You know what I mean? I think long-term commitment scares them, but I think for a lot of you Aries out there, they do sense that if they were to settle down, they feel like you are a candidate for someone they would want to do that with, whereas their other option, it may not have been that. It may have been something that was either convenient or, again, maybe like a sex-based connection. They definitely still think about you, but it's kind of like they sealed their fate, or they were the one who kind of messed this up. But I'm not sure that they totally understand that. I think this person has a lot of habits and behaviors that end up being to their own demise or their own detriment. They don't always watch where they're going, and they end up getting into trouble, or they may end up hurting people because they don't... I don't know. There's like a cool detachment with the Seven of Swords, but I don't know. With how they're feeling, it's almost like they accidentally fell for you, or they accidentally realized they had more feelings than they initially thought, and I think that scares them. It's almost like they're in denial how much... And I don't want to paint false hope here, but I'm asking about their feelings, and it's like something caught them off guard about this Ten of Cups. So it's almost like they ended up catching feelings for you, and it got complicated. Maybe because they already had a partner, or maybe because they weren't looking for anything long term. But I mean, the 9 to the 10, it's like there's a contemplation if they're ready to give up, if they are single, if they're not committed, if they're ready to give up sort of like their persistence or stubbornness to live that independent life, bachelorette style. I think there is something a little bit selfish about them, right? It's like they want to have their cake and eat it too. But I think for a lot of you, you drew the line, or you drew some sort of boundary of like, you can't have me and everybody else. And good for you, right? I mean, self-respect, right? And I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying it looks complicated, right? So potential action towards you in the future. Well, hey, Two of Cups. I think this says I missed you. I think there's going to be a lot of like, and I don't even mean this in the sexual sense, but there's going to be a lot of like physical touch. There's like the sensual touch, a lot of like caressing or holding hands or hugging or something about the embrace. I think you guys have both dreamed about that. The Page of Wands. Here's the thing though, like even if this just represents the idea of someone communicating towards you, it almost seems like you choose to walk away because you don't necessarily sense that they're committed. I do think they're probably going to reach out to you again, but someone here is walking away feeling kind of I don't know if bittersweet is the right word, but like for some, I'm hearing the word humbled. I don't really know. So maybe this person comes back expecting you to welcome them with open arms. And the thing is, you seem to be receptive of the communication, but I don't think you're rushing in to be like, I forgive you, let's be happily ever after, because I don't know, there's something about the practicality and the reality is that it's more complicated than that. Yeah, so then again, there's that Seven of Cups, like the illusion and the mystery, and I always point out it's a Scorpio card, and Scorpio energy, whether you're dealing with one or not, it's very much like all or nothing. Like, are we in this or are we out? And so again, this metaphor of like wanting it all, having their cake and eat it too, wanting options, versus you, who, again, this I'm reading for most of you out there anyway, it could be a cross-watcher reading. It's like, you either want me or you don't. That's sort of like the all or nothing. Like, we can't do this like kind of clandestine cheating, sneaking around, eventually I'm going to leave them thing. I think you tend to, I don't know, I think as much as you want to invest more energy in this connection, you kind of see this person for who they are. So even if they do reach out with communication, unless you get the sense that they've really weighed off their options and eliminated other prospects, I don't necessarily see you moving forward in a commitment with this person. And there's nothing stopping you from doing sort of a more physical thing that's, I don't know if it's rebounding or friends with benefits or whatever it is. I don't necessarily see a reason why you can't do that, but the emotional feeling attached to it, while they see you as someone they want to build a future with, they're still not acting as if they're ready to make that long-term commitment. They're still very apprehensive and figuring out how they feel about commitments. So, I mean, that's not great, right? So don't put your life on pause for other people, right? We know that. We're not going to do that. What's the T here? Boss daddy, stable, rich business owner, CEO, big dick energy. Tell me a little bit more. I think this person views themselves in like a very high status position. I think they've always had people at their beck and call, and they're used to being in that powerful position, that controlling position where they don't have to work too hard to get attention. So don't feed into that. Don't add fuel to that fire, because I think you need to kind of give this person a reality check that like you're worth more than that. You're not just going to be, again, they shoot off a text weeks later after keeping you on red and you just come back to them. I'm not at all saying feed into the game and play hard to get, but remember what you know about this person and really lean into that. Giving money. Interesting. Yeah, so maybe this person tries to win you over with money, or they could be rather materialistic. You might be dealing with someone who someone who has a very successful career, or maybe someone who's a workaholic. And in some ways that makes sense to me, because even if they do seem to have their life together, they may not have the time to feed a connection with commitment. And so that's why there is this kind of like just taking relationships there's like an ease to it. It's like, I'm not going to work super hard for it because I don't have the time to invest in a relationship or a romantic connection. So even though I want to promise you the world, and I don't know, for some of you, this person could have made a promise that eventually they're going to come to you and this and that. They're really in love with their job, or it's like there's something non-negotiable about how they spend their time, how they spend their money. And so any extra time, that's, in theory up for the taking, but I don't know, there's maybe a little bit of a selfish energy with their time. What would this person say to Aries? I can still see you standing there. I think this person knows that they let you down. I think they feel guilty, but they would never let it show. They're too proud. And then leaving you hurt me too. One more for Aries. Anything else this person would say? I hope you're happy for me. So I think this person does thrive off of your attention, your compliments, your praise. That's probably how they ended up in this big position, is because they felt like they had something to prove to the world. So maybe on the inside they are insecure. I don't know, right? I don't want to necessarily throw the word like narcissistic around, but I don't know. With devil energy, there's Capricorn energy here. So a lower vibe can be very controlling, very materialistic, very kind of darker energy, right? I think yeah, you were like the shiny new toy, and so when you had their attention, you felt amazing and beautiful. But when they drew that back, it felt kind of tricky and sad. Like I get it. I think there's a desire for this to come back together in a strong way. But Page of Wands to the Seven of Cups, again, it's a juvenile communication, a small offer, maybe like a checking in, hey, how you doing? I don't really see remorse or apologies here. I think there's the fantasy of this coming together, but until this person figures out how they really feel, again, these are weekly readings, guys, I see more of the same. I see more of the same energy going on. You know, with that Seven of Swords, how do they feel? They're still not certain. They go back and forth. So anyway, all right, that's what I got for you guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next week for more tarot. Thanks, Aries. All right, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. The person on your mind, are they still into you? So assuming you're either not together or communication is fizzled or there's some sort of obstacle, are they still into you, Taurus? The person on your mind, let's help guide Taurus. How is this person presenting right now so that I understand the story? It's a little bit of a vagueness. Let's see, someone who might be a little bit defensive. An offer was made, but somebody didn't know what to do with it. Feels like there's a lot of psychological stuff going on here. A lot of anxiety. This person has their own kind of demons or dragons that they're slaying. Maybe they have had issues with depression, anxiety, you know, some sort of mental health issues. They may even sort of have self-worth issues, feeling like whatever they have to offer you, it won't be enough. And so it's like they stop themselves short of doing that, or I don't know, if they did make an offer, someone didn't know what to do with it. Like they were kind of like, ugh, this is underwhelming, or I don't want it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you made an offer and they rejected you. Let's see a little bit more. With the moon, there's a lot of mystery. So for some of you, I'm almost even tempted to say you're not even quite sure what happened. Like there's some sort of vagueness about what happened. An offer was made. I don't know if it was an offer to go out or to do something more committed or serious. But someone immediately jumped back and felt defensive or felt threatened or, but just being put on the defense. There may have been some sort of misunderstanding where someone kind of went off the deep end, and the misinterpretation of what was being offered or something that someone said as I'm hearing the words like rebuttal or a retort, however they responded. There was a lot of like, possibly passion or heated anger, aggression, a misinterpretation of what somebody said. This feels very much like a dating app connection where it's like you don't really know the other person's sense of humor, so somebody says something and then it's completely misread, taken the wrong way, and like, do you understand what I mean? Like there's something about misinterpretation of something being offered here. So yikes, Taurus, this already looks complicated. So tell me a little bit more, please. There's something about an argument or a fight. Now, if that's not directly with you and your person, that could have been past trauma from an ex or someone that they were involved with romantically previously. There could have been a lot of fighting and feuding, and so maybe this person is very apprehensive to let you in or to open up to you because, they come like guns a-blazing. They're very protective and they're prepared to sort of like defend themselves. And if it doesn't have to do with you, and I have a feeling it doesn't for most of you, maybe you accidentally, pushed a button or triggered them in some way unbeknownst to you. And again, they're still sorting through some past stuff that they haven't really dealt with because maybe they were in a very psychologically disturbed or abusive relationship. God forbid, I'm not predicting this, but there's something about the psyche here with the moon and the Nine of Swords. There's something scary about this. So. And I mean, again, I have to read this with, my own sort of ethical code. If you are in any sort of situation where you were dealing with someone who was verbally, mentally, physically abusive, like, don't be watching this video. Like, get out of there. Do you understand what I mean? Like, and I say that in the most compassionate, supportive way, but I can't be like, ooh, let's spy on the person who's hitting you. Absolutely not. I don't condone that. So hopefully for a lot of you, I wouldn't hope this for anyone, but for a lot of you, I think the storyline here is whoever you were getting involved with had a lot of, I don't want to say baggage, but stuff going on with it, like maybe like a crazy ex. Do you know what I mean? All right, so how does this person currently feel about Taurus? Are they still into Taurus? Were there feelings there? Are there feelings there? Where are we at currently with emotions? I feel like Family Feud. It's like, show me cups, show me emotions, temperance. Interesting. It's almost like they feel like they have to let you go. The first thing I got from this is they feel like they blew it. Like they feel like they missed out on an opportunity with you. I have a feeling this is going to be the theme in the reading. It's like, ugh, I want to, but I can't, and I'm so emotional, and you don't understand me. It's like, well, explain it to me. You know what I mean? Like, you just want to shake people and be like, hey, like, I'm not your ex, so, like, give me a chance. Don't, you know? It's like, don't project your old narrative onto me. Like, you know, you don't know how I'm going to react to this. But ultimately, though, this person has to be open to giving and receiving in terms of affection, attention, conversation, you know, sharing about themselves, and they don't seem willing to do that. It's almost like this person is very much willing to throw the towel because they want to set you free, because they're self-deprecating. It's like they see themselves as being very, again, psychologically fragile and frail, something about that. And so it's almost like they believe that the best thing to do right now is to release you and set you free so that you don't get intertwined in the drama. There is the Queen of Cups there, though. So there's an apprehensiveness here. The emotions are there, but there's something about they're very guarded and they're very protective of their own heart and their own emotions. And I do see something sort of self-deprecating about, like, you not wanting, or them not wanting you to be involved in their stuff. And so I know some of you are confused, like, well, then why are they on dating apps? Why did they ask me out? I don't have the answer, guys. I don't know why people do what they do, right? But there is something here of, like, they started something and then they retracted. And that's incredibly frustrating when you're on the other end of that, right? So this person replays memories in their head of things that went on in the past, past romantic connections. I also think this person, not all of you, but this person may also have like an addiction that they're working on, or they may try and numb themselves with alcohol or drugs because whatever they're dealing with is really intense. And so, I mean, that's not great, right? I don't mean to pass judgment, but for some of you, this person may have a drinking problem. They may have tried to kick the habit and free themselves from that, but the temptation is still there. So this person might be trying to become sober, and I don't know, something about being in a romantic relationship, it's bringing up triggers where it's not necessarily about you. It's not necessarily personal to you and what you bring. It's just that it's inciting these feelings that they're not prepared to deal with, because there is some sort of learning curve on how to like get back out into the dating world in a safe and healthy way. Because I do feel for whoever this is, something in the past really took a toll on them and they are still very much healing. Temperance says they're definitely healing. For one or two of you, this person may have recently lost a family member, particularly a sister or a mother, a feminine figure. I'm not predicting that. I don't like to do scary readings, but again, that could also be some sort of trigger if this person is healing or coping with something. Maybe there was a recent loss and they're kind of struggling. There is cup energy here, though. So in terms of feelings, was there feelings there at one point? Yes. You know, ideally, do they dream of some amazing reunion with you? Potentially, but I also think the Three of Cups is sort of like an avoidant thing. Like they're just going out and partying or hanging out with friends or coworkers or socializing, but not necessarily in a romantic way. I don't necessarily get third party stuff. I see them, I just don't think they're ready to date right now, Taurus, to be honest, but let's see, is there going to be any action towards you? Do they think about you? Yes. Was there feelings there? Yes. But my goodness, it's complicated. It's complicated. And so in some ways, I do think this person is trying to do the right thing by not getting you involved or enmeshed or entangled in all of that, because there's a lot of things still kind of needing to find resolution in their life. The 5, yeah, there's conflict. No one seems to be doing anything here. It seems to be at a bit of a standstill because it's exhausting. The last man standing. I don't know what that means, but maybe that's significant. Knight of Wands. I honestly see you trying to come in with communication before they communicate with you. Not necessarily endorsing that, but it's like the wiser one, the more mature one, the one who's able to step back and see things from a different perspective. That seems to be the person coming in to incite some sort of action or conversation. But it's still, what is that expression? Sorry, give me a second. It falls on deaf ears. Is that the right expression? It's something about the message, if that does happen, it's received, but action isn't being taken. It's like you have this person riding in like, all right, let's do this. We're motivated. We're empowered. Here we go. Yeehaw. And this person is just like, what? They just seem lost. This person's lost. I also think the hermit energy comes up when it says someone here is soul searching. The snake also says to me, major transformation is happening, but you can't rush that process. So to be honest, again, I know this isn't like super like fun messages, but I think you're best going down your own path, and if things intersect in the future, great. But I don't know, it feels like wasted energy trying to force something that it's just not there yet. I think the emotions and the feelings were true, but I think this person jumped too quickly, maybe to try and rebound or forget something, and then they kind of had that epiphany that, oh, I might actually be hurting Taurus in the process, so I better not. They still have like their demons to conquer here. I do think they think about your body. I was gonna say they think about your sex. The devil card can definitely have a sexual connotation. Watch your own obsession though with that. Your Taurus rising, you're a 7th house Scorpio, so watch that your obsession and fixation on this one option isn't something that you're building your life around. Word to the wise there. Free yourself, liberate yourself from that, because it is coming through more as a burden right now. So this is an offer. Let's see. Broke ass. Fishing for comments. This person may look you up on social media. So I take this to mean even if an offer is made with Knight of Wands, I'm not sure who makes what offer, but there's not a lot there. An offer is made and then it's like they can't afford to back it up. I don't necessarily mean monetarily. I mean energetically. It's like, yeah, let's definitely hang out again. But it's almost like that thing they tell you just to give them a little bit of time to figure out their next plan. But I don't actually see plans being followed through, if that makes sense. I think this person is sniffing around to see what you're doing, but again, it's in a way where it's like they just want to watch from afar. I think they're hoping that you're still single, but I don't totally know what they're hoping for because they don't really have the motive or the drive to make this happen. And then it says soulmate, soul connection, partnership, soul contract, and life partner. Maybe this person just got out of a divorce or going through counseling with their person. Why is the soulmates card coming up? Why is the soulmate card coming up? Page of Wands. Soulmates to me feels like a vision or a dream of what they want to strive to achieve, but they're just not there yet. What would this person say to Taurus? You have Sagittarius, double Sagittarius energy. You have Virgo, you have Capricorn, you have Cancer, Scorpio. I wish you would come back, and you might. But again, Knight of Wands, it's a knight, it's not a king. It feels like this is going to have a few more go-arounds, but I don't know if there's any change or growth. Something has to be liberated here. Yeah, it's like putting a lot of work in, but the results end up being similar. I think you have to aim higher. I also think there might be another connection coming through here. Leaving you hurt me too. Aries had that as well. Anything else? The most important message? I wondered how far this would go. Yeah, there's something about somebody got in too deep. They pumped the brakes because they realized that they were maybe stringing you along or not sort of able to participate in a relationship the way they had thought or hoped. They changed their mind. Ultimately, that's what happened. Again, I do think there were feelings there, but this is complicated. And then I would say for you, Taurus, focus on things that are a little bit more easy at this point. Wish them the best, leave the door open for them to come back in the future if that's what you desire. But yeah, you can't force this to come together. This person has some work to do on themselves. All right, that's what I got. I hope that was helpful, you guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next week for more tarot. All right, Gemini, sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. Are they still into you? That person on your mind, that person you may be having second thoughts about or wondering about, probably a person you're not currently with. Let's see. Are they still thinking about Gemini? Messages for Gemini's best and highest good. How is this person showing up so I can get an idea of where they're at? What is their energy currently? Ooh, they're definitely contemplating a conversation with you, but it feels very like, I don't know if slippery slope is the right term, but it's very, I'm hearing word like tense or taut, or they're trying to phrase something just so because maybe they don't want to agitate you, or maybe they're worried that if they did reach out, you wouldn't take it well. So it's like they're approaching very cautiously with a lot of care. They're probably spying on you though. And if you are with somebody else or out there socializing or posting on social, I do think they're a little bit jealous. I do think they're half in, half out because they're proud. So if they were to reach out and find out that you weren't available, that would crush them. And so part of them, it's like there is a performance element here of maybe wanting to make you a little bit jealous. I'll be honest, it's a little bit childish. And do keep in mind, these readings can go vice versa. So if there's people cross-watching on Gemini, do you understand what I mean? So, take what resonates, but sometimes the roles will flip-flop. They don't know if they were to reach out to you, if you would, I want to phrase this correctly. They question how committed you are, Gemini. And no offense, guys, like I got plenty of Gemini in my chart. I have to relay the messages honestly. So here it is. They think that you are easily distracted by like the shiny new thing or something of the sort. It's like they think that it's like the flavor of the week with you. And I'm not saying that's true, but that is their perception of you. So it's like when this person first entered their life, it felt like, you were all they saw and they loved the attention and the ego stroke they got from you. But then something else caught your attention and your eyes wandered. And so I think I'm sort of getting the impression that maybe you ended it, or maybe they started to pull back their energy and withdraw because they sensed that you had other options. Again, I don't know if you did, but it's almost like if they did reach out, they're worried that even if you agreed to make plans and meet up, your attention would soon wander, or there would be a distraction, or again, they would become second banana to something else in your life. Even if it's not another person, they may think you're very focused on money and resources right now, and maybe aren't putting in the same amount of effort to date them, or some sort of like equality and money. I'm hearing those two words. So I don't know if that factors into it in terms of needing to date someone who makes a certain amount of money or has a certain job. That might be how they're viewing you as well. They may have apprehension to date you because of what you do or how much you make. Again, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just getting this is complicated as these readings have been so far. So let's just get down to it. How does this person feel about Gemini? Current feelings. Is there anything there? Feelings, the emotional realm. Yeah, there's worry about lost feelings or lost emotions, and can we get it back? You might not know it, but this person is incredibly sensitive, and it feels like they put themselves out there. They maybe put themselves in a vulnerable position, and it felt like you threw their love away. Gemini, what did you do to this person? No, I'm kidding. Again, maybe it's vice versa. But it very much feels like somebody put their heart on the line or made some sort of, even if it's a small romantic gesture, here's what it is. It feels like the other person took it for granted or didn't take it seriously. So someone here is having a lot of like, feelings about that. Like, it took a lot for me to do that and I got rejected. And yet, I do think the Page of Cups says there are feelings there, but it's almost like this person is like, I should know better. I should have known better. I knew that was going to happen. That always happens to me. They're shy. They're shy to approach. Gemini, I have to be honest here. Gosh, I don't want to alienate you guys because I absolutely love Geminis. I do. A lot of my best friends are Geminis. I know some of you guys are out there watching. You know I love Geminis. They view you as a little bit cold-hearted or vindictive or cutting them out without explanation. Or even if you didn't cut them out, there's something kind of savage. It feels very much like you trampled over their feelings or they tried to, express some sort of emotional truth, and either you completely dismissed it or you didn't acknowledge it, and that to them was just like, like, how could you do that? I'm literally seeing Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey, that moment where he sees his best friend with Mary, like the love of his life, and he just has that moment where it feels like a bullet has struck his heart. That's how I'm seeing this person. It's like they have feelings for you, but I also think they have tremendous trust issues because of something that went down. Again, I don't know how you even participated in this or if you were aware, but that was their reaction to something that went on, is they see you as a little bit conniving, backstabbing, or just, heartless, cold, something like that, or too proud to acknowledge feelings. Yeah, it's like, I gave you my world. Lloyd Dobler, I gave you my heart, or no, I gave her my heart and she gave me a pen. That's what I mean. It feels very much like someone wanted to give you their world and you were just like, well, that's nice. Gemini. So here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. In theory, you're watching this because you're wondering if they're still into you. So maybe this isn't the person you're thinking about. I mean, I set the intention for the person you're wondering about. So I don't know, did you have a change of heart, Gemini, or a change of mind? That wouldn't be abnormal. But if that's the case, then I think you do need to acknowledge at the time you probably could have acted better. Or now in hindsight, you look back and maybe you should have done something differently. Or you're thinking that anyway, right? If this is your story. If none of this is resonating, it's not your story this week, right? But this is that person in the past. Are they thinking about you? Do they have feelings for you? Are they into you? Yeah, but it feels like their trust was broken or they were really hurt by some sort of interaction. So they think about coming back, but again, there's something here about needing to approach it gingerly or delicately, or you know what it is for a lot of you, it's like a difficult conversation. There's something that needs to be addressed. And I'm thinking that they're wondering if they were to even to approach you about it, if you would even kind of acknowledge the issue or if you would just gloss over it or worse, not even respond. I also think they're worried that you moved on to someone else. And to be honest, for some of you, that may have been the case. You may have started something and then immediately found another person. And to be honest, that's what I was sensing too. So for some of you, if you're kind of like hanging out with someone currently, the person that you kind of ditched to be with your current person, they do still think about you, but they may also know that you have someone else, another option. Capricorn might feature strongly in this. Sagittarius, Libra, Pisces, Cancer. All right, so potential action towards Gemini, this person of the past who, that's the thing, they were really hurt by you. But Page of Cups says, I don't know, they might be awaiting an apology from you, or again, vice versa, if they were the one who kind of acted in a savage way and was not tactful with an emotional truth that was shared. You know, maybe they feel like they owe you an apology. It could be something like that. Action. Yeah, I don't know. This week does not seem like a good week to initiate conversation. It would be like poking the bear. It would be like adding gasoline to a fire. Something wasn't addressed. There was confusion or misinterpretation or just a snap, emotionally charged reaction to something that happened. And whoever is experiencing that, the wound is still very fresh. So I don't think either person is in a good place to kind of acknowledge what went down and build from that. The High Priestess says you already know. It also says there may have been a secret involved here, and I'm not sure if somebody found out, but the High Priestess is very much either like the other woman or mum's the word. Occasionally it can represent spirituality. It can also represent Cancerian energy. Maybe you're dealing with a Cancer. Maybe there was a secret person involved, or again, even if you weren't necessarily committed, there could have been multiple conversations and then you ultimately decided to go off or veer off in another direction. But this says you already know. And so for some of you, there is sort of that message here of the damage was done. And so do you really want to poke the bear? And even if it is you initiating an apology, if you don't really mean it, or you're not going to sort of uphold the expectation of, hey, I'm coming in and I want to try again, I wouldn't bother, because this person is so fragile and delicate. It's like, I wouldn't want them to have to go through that again. So like, put yourself in their shoes, because you know what it's like to be strung along too, Gemini, right? So it's that, like, you already know, like, use good judgment, really think things through. Yeah, I do think there's a heavy-heartedness. And again, I am sort of sensing guilt or remorse about the way someone acted, but ultimately it feels like someone's going in a different direction because it's like the right thing to do. I do think an apology is owed, but I don't necessarily think it's being expressed. There's silent energy. There's silent energy too, because fear of what the other person might say or how they might respond, but someone is up in their head about it. I don't see action though. This person may appear to you in a dream. I focused on you instead of my pain, so maybe there was what is a good word for it? An avoidance or you know, trying to not have to deal with the heaviness of life. Maybe this was just kind of a fun little, yeah, I'm going to do this and, you know, not have to focus on my problems for a bit, but then, you know, reality always comes back around. That's that Saturn energy. I pretend that I don't care, but make no mistake about it, they absolutely care. And I think you do too. And then thank you for leaving me. Interesting. I am sensing for a lot of you, like, some of you may have avoided putting an end to a flirtation or a romantic situation, and you were just kind of hoping that by going dark on them, by going silent or ghosting, they would get the message. And they did, but I think they hold that against you. Like, why couldn't you just be like a stand-up person and tell me the truth? Woo, Gemini, this is slippery. This is a slippery slope. This person does dream about you. I think there was fondness and affection there for a moment. I think it got their hopes up, and then I'm so sorry, but it's like you broke their heart. You shattered their little heart, and now they're healing. That's honestly what I see here, but I don't see action towards you. And to be honest, I'm not saying indefinitely, but this is not the week to reach out and try and make amends or communicate, because these cards are like, yeah, it's not going to land well. It's going to incite even more arguments or weird feelings. And yeah, I would just, I would push pause on this for now. Focus on something else. All right, thanks, Gemini. All right, Cancer, buckle in. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Are they still into you? Look at my wax going everywhere. So much for these candle holders. Though I am using candles that are way too big. But anyway, here we go. It's Cancer season though, so happy birthday. I got my little crabby candle holders for you guys in honor of the Cancers. All right, here we go. Refocusing my energy. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Messages for their best and highest good. Regarding the person they are still thinking about, are they still into you? Is the person that Cancer is thinking about Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus? Let's give them some messages for their best and highest good. As much truth and clarity as we're allowed to know at this point. The person they're thinking about, the person on their mind. Let's see. How is this person's energy presenting? Thank you. Ooh, all right. Interested. Oh, this card has come in a lot. People have their own demons to slay, their own dragons to slay, a lot of anxiety. You may have had a sort of an emotional reaction to something and it spooked them, or they may be dealing with their own sort of mental health issues, anxiety, depression, something of the sort. Fear may play a major role in their life, and so as much as they want to connect with people in an intimate way, they feel very guarded in some capacity. So yeah, they're kind of soul searching right now. They come off to me as kind of independent. I don't necessarily think they've moved on with someone else. I think they've come to some sort of recognition how much their own fear does hold them back. And I think they are looking back on ways that they reacted or you reacted and wishing things could have been differently. But they're going through like a period of isolation and maybe detachment right now. If they have pets or animals, that might be a very important source of kind of nurturing. I don't know why that's coming through, but pets and animals might be very important to this person. They may have recently gotten a new pet, or they may even be grieving the loss of a pet. I don't know why that's coming through, but they're on a path of self-discovery. That's how their energy is presenting. In some ways, I think they try not to think about you because it brings back memories of hurt or agitation or difficult situations where it's like they kind of want to clear that out of their energy. So let's see if there's feelings there. I do think this person is very hard on themselves. They're very critical by nature, possibly of others, but especially they're hard on themselves. And I think they look back and they have some sort of remorse or regret. I don't know if it's guilt, but like, yeah, thinking about things, it's like, oh God, okay. Like, you know, like when you're trying to fall asleep at night and you have that memory of that like embarrassing thing you did in like the 4th grade and you're just like, oh my God. It's that type of thing. They look back on some conversation with you and they're just like, ugh, it's like, I don't want to think about it. Ugh, like, so I don't know if it's something you did or they did, but it's awkward and they don't like to think about it. In terms of feelings, they feel rejected. And I know some of you are like, but they rejected me. Yeah, but they wanted to have the best of both worlds, Cancer. They didn't want to try. They just wanted you to love them. You're like, but I did love them. This person in some ways is looking for someone who's going to rescue them from their own problems. And I'm so sorry, Cancer. I don't mean to chalk you up to a stereotype. But it feels very much like you saw that and that was a source of like, ooh, I can help. I can play rescuer. I can play nurturer. I'm good at that. And I'm not saying that you're doing it on a conscious level, but you're very empathetic, right? You see someone in need and it's your natural instinct to help, right? To nurture. That you're ruled by the moon, right? It's like you want to feed, right? In some capacity. Or the opposite, help feed others, right? I mean that in metaphor, of course. But it's like, I think this person realized that you were very willing to rescue them, and there may have been guilt around that of maybe leading you on, or it's like wanting the time and the affection and the attention from you, but also having trouble receiving it because of their own internal monologue, their own, I don't know, judgment or criticism of their self. It's like something here has definitely been lost. They're kind of in the crux of trying to get over it, but two cups remain. So I think there's a part of them that wishes something good could come out of this. I think they're trying really hard to let you go and put it to rest. It feels like in some ways they're acknowledging that they could have done more or tried harder, but they let something go even though they wanted it. It's very weird. It's like they're denying themselves pleasure of love and attention, or I don't know. Like one more, please. Yeah, it's like you got too close and it freaked them out. So it was easier for them to reject you than for you to reject them, because eventually they're quite certain that would have happened. And then they go into this phase of, but maybe it wouldn't have, maybe I shouldn't have done. I don't know. There's a lot of like psychology behind this, but it doesn't totally make sense to me. But it doesn't have to. I mean, the tarot cards are like, the minute they let you in and you started to get close, you had a really great conversation, it got too heavy or it got too deep, or something about it was very jarring to this person. They're like, okay, I gotta go. They got freaked out. Again, something to do with fear of expression, fear of opening up, fear of letting people in. They don't want to be vulnerable, or they don't want to be put in a place where they open up, because again, then there's the potential for you to reject them, or for you to dislike them, or for you to be critical of them when that's the last thing they need, because they already have so many trepidations about who they are and their love life or their romantic partnership. I don't know, but it does kind of feel like, I don't know, so I wanted to use the word stabbed in the back. So I don't know if that's in regards to you and how you feel, or that's something that happened to them in the past. And so maybe that's why they have this sort of protective armor on, is they've been hurt in the past. And so they don't want to repeat that, but then they deny themselves the opportunity to be in love again because they're too closed off. They're too closed off. It's like you had the hint of something. This card looks really cute. And then again, same things with the swords. It's like someone's like, whoa, okay, too much. I got to back off. Keeping you at arm's length. It became a little bit colder, and obviously you sense that, right? So, potential action then? Is there any action here towards Cancer in the near future? Communication, anything, action, movements, collaborations. They don't want to put themselves in a position where they're begging you to come back. They hope you just do naturally. Because they like to be in the power position and they like to be in control. And maybe for some of you, that's what freaked them out, is because in some ways they viewed you as being in a superior position and they don't think they're deserving of that. They'd rather date people who, I don't know what this means, but they'd rather date people who are below them because they don't have to feel bad about themselves. So I don't know if that has to do with financial stuff or job titles, or even like the emotional capacity to feel. For some of you Cancers, maybe you were very emotionally intelligent. I don't know, but that there's something about they view you as better or above, and they don't, I don't know, they didn't want to beg for your time or your attention, or that's not really it though. Sorry, I'm not being clear with this message, but again, it's something about they need to feel like they're in the superior position, whatever that means. If they feel like you have one up on them, they get freaked out and they run. This person may even have trouble with authority, or may have grown up in like an abusive household. Yeah, there's healing going on. This person may be experiencing financial difficulties as well, or if it's not financial, it's certainly self-worth. I do think they're going through a period of like, again, spiritual awakening, soul journey, in terms of like opening up their heart again and learning the process of opening up to people. And they have trust issues because, again, someone hurt them and took from them in the past. Someone may even taken advantage of them in terms of like money. But now it's just this dance of do I or don't I? I wanna be in a relationship, but I'm not ready. I want to trust them, but I have trust issues. It's the back and forth. This person is, I think I've said this to you before. It's like this person is very committed to self-sabotaging. And obviously that's not on a conscious level, but they're trying to make strides to improve and do better. And I don't mean to offend your person, right? Maybe this is a cross-watcher reading. Maybe someone's cross-watching on Cancer, but they're very stuck. They're very committed to this, like, woe is me, total eclipse of the heart energy. But we have to remember, it's the middle of the journey. That's not where it ends. So hopefully this person does have some type of epiphany that, like, healing is definitely in their future, but they do have to show up consistently and do the work. They need to be committed to the improvement, not committed to the bad behavior. You might be dealing with a Taurus. It is a card of strong commitment and marriage, though. So for a few of you, maybe this person was married or committed to someone else, even if they weren't married. I don't know. That's really the first time that message has come out. But for one or two of you, maybe you needed to hear that. This person may be stuck in an unhealthy marriage and working to get themselves out of it. But again, when the potential of committing to you comes around, it's like they freak out and they're like, oh, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to leave them. You might be dealing with a Taurus, a Scorpio, a Virgo, a Gemini, a Libra. What would this person say to Cancer? What would this person say? I never want to feel that way again. Uh-oh. And for some of them, it's I feel like it's the guilt. I'm happy that it's over. Okay. Because they weren't ready. Whoever started to open up, it's like it was too much. It was too much too soon. You didn't imagine it. You already know, Cancer. You're very psychic. You read people well, even like the emotional tone of the room. Now, I'm not saying you always practice good emotional intelligence. I think sometimes Cancers can get triggered, right? And sometimes we overreact in a way, and then, in hindsight, you're like, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have done that. But I think what you were thinking or feeling was probably accurate. Yeah, that's what it is. There's again, fear dictates this person's life again. And I think it's almost like there was some sort of issue or circumstance where this person felt very threatened by you. And I don't necessarily mean in a physical domineering way. I mean more like there's no escape route and I really need one right now and I don't know how to do this. And there's almost like feeling cornered and having almost like a mini panic attack. And for some of you, you don't totally understand why, but you knew that psychologically there was other reasons or other things going on in this person's life that maybe you weren't privy to, but it was adding up to sort of spell out that, like, this person is not ready for me. And I think that's what this is. I think that's what this is. Allow this person to heal, right? If you love something, set it free. If it's meant to be yours, it'll come back. But I think this is committing to your own goals and maybe finding someone who's more in alignment with what you are wanting at this point in your life and really like what you're deserving of. You don't want kind of half-hearted, half in, half out people who are overly defensive. Like, it's not your job to break down their walls. Ideally you're manifesting someone who's very open, right? That's what I would hope anyway. All right, Cancers, that's what I got for you. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next week for more tarot. All right, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Are they still into you? That person you're thinking about, your ex, or that missed connection? Let's see what's going on for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Messages for their best and highest good. Let's see about the person that's on their mind. How are they presenting in the reading? A little spread so I can understand their energy. How are they presenting in this reading? Very traditional. Very committed to their job, committing to their money, or possibly, for some of you, it's like possibly committed to their independence. If they were married, there could potentially be third-party stuff here. Yeah, and there's the Three of Pentacles. All right, so let's see. The temptation of being with you versus staying in some sort of commitment. That's sort of what's coming through here. Now, for some of you, it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic commitment. Maybe they're very committed to their job and their job makes them travel. And, essentially being with you in a commitment would sort of, that would be an obstacle, right? Their money does seem to be a very important focus for them right now. Possibly something to do with their kids or their children. This person had a difficult upbringing, and so it's very important to establish security for themselves as an adult because they don't want to end up it's almost like raising kids the way their parents raised them. Money was very tight. There wasn't enough to go around. And so something about that has made them very serious and very committed about their goals for the future. And like nothing is going to stop them from achieving that, not even sort of the distraction of romance. You may have felt that your person was kind of a workaholic or always putting work before you or always had work obligations or commitments. I don't think they were lying if you thought that that was just a convenient excuse. I think this person works a lot. Something with education or study might be occupying their time as well. There may also been a conservative or traditional nature about them, even in terms of like spirituality or religion. That could have been sort of a tricky, I don't know, a tricky dynamic, and maybe they were looking for someone who practiced the same religion and you didn't, and you know, it wasn't necessarily a deal breaker, but it was certainly in their mind. I don't know. That's for some of you. Are there feelings there? So what is the Hermit shining his lantern on? This card has come up a lot. It's very much a card of soul searching. It is independent, though. Two very strong cards of independence for me as a reader. Knowing one's value, knowing one's worth, and not willing to give it away easy without the promise of a commitment. So for you, Leo, if you are looking for something fun and casual, this person more or less wasn't going to have it anymore. And so I am getting different dynamics. I'm getting different stories. That will happen in tarot, right? But for some of you, it almost seems like this person was willing to end things with you if there wasn't sort of the guarantee of a commitment or putting a title on something. So even if they have to be alone for a little while, yeah, it's like they're looking for an offer that feels right, not something that's going to be very fly by night. Something that's flighty, inconsistent, and not something that I typically associate with Leo, mind you. But yeah, that's a storyline coming through. So, you know, feel free to swap the story, swap the, you know, characters, essentially. You know, somebody else got this card. I think it was Gemini, actually. But it was something about a less serious offer, an offer that was kind of come and go. It wasn't consistent. And maybe that's what you were experiencing with this person. And if that's the case, again, is it because they were committed to something else, whether it's a person or a work thing, or it's like, yeah, it's like you just want to leap on it and, what is a good word? Capture it. You don't want it to go away, but something about this offer was very fleeting. Again, maybe this person lives at a distance, and so you guys were having to travel to see each other, and maybe you just reached a point where it's like, you know, I can't afford to hop on a plane every weekend and see you. With Virgo energy, it might just not have been practical. Feelings. Yeah, to be honest, with the Knight of Cups, like kind of drinking his own cup. Oh, gosh, that could be a metaphor. It feels like this person is having to be selfish right now. And I'm not necessarily using that word in a bad sense. They are more self-focused. There's something about their own life that is requiring their energy and time and attention. And so they're feeding that energy in order to better prepare themselves for the next romantic relationship. And maybe that will be with you. I don't know. We'll look at actions, but I don't necessarily think they're dating around, though. I don't get that. So again, are they not dating around because they're married? That's an option. I don't think that was secret, though. I think you knew about that, if that's the case. If this person wasn't married, and for a lot of you they weren't, it was a connection where it just wasn't practical. With all this earthy energy, it's like, I'm interested, but for some reason or another, it's not, you know, lighting my sky up, and so I'm just going to have to let this go. And I do think with this kind of bug energy, you know, the idea of taking flight or wings, again, travel potentially, someone may work a lot or travel for work. It's kind of like that. If you love something, set it free. Now, maybe love is too strong a word. I do think there was interest and intrigue, but this person was not willing to fight for it if it wasn't relatively easy, and again, practical is the word that's coming through the most. And so right now, I think there's just kind of a like, what will be, will be. And so I think this person is marching on, just kind of doing their thing. I don't get the sense that they're like sleeping around or with other people. I'm not saying they're not kind of putting themselves out there. You know, if you met on an app, they probably still have their profile up, but they're more self-focused right now and kind of honoring what's in their own heart. Survival, necessity are words that are coming up here. So potential action towards Leo. I think this person may actually break the silence. If that has been a thing, you may actually hear from this person. Because you're both holding on to it in some capacity. This actually went a very interesting way. I have to say, Leo, you're the first card of the first 5 signs that has actually had some sort of action that isn't just, oh, they're thinking about it, or oh, they're never going to change. Their action, I think, is, again, there's so much earth energy here. So practicality, and also earth signs for that matter. People who have very strong earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or a very strongly placed Saturn, a Saturn moon, a Saturn sun, you know? I think someone is wanting to come through and give clarity if that was not given before, or vice versa. This person may confront you or ask you for some sort of clarity, ultimately for the purpose of liberating the mind from something that it keeps going back to it. If this person is independent and on their soul path, if it's not going to work with you, it still feels like a distraction in some capacity. So it's almost like going back to tie up loose ends and to get some sort of clarity or certainty that nothing could potentially grow from this. Or is this something we have to be patient, right? The Empress is always shown pregnant. So it's like, do we have to let this, I don't know, germinate, to use a pun, right? Do we kind of have to wait this out and see what happens in the future when we have more time to nurture and take care of this? I do think there's a discussion of, should I let this go? And I don't really know what to do with that message, but I do see twice someone coming back to like ask for reassurance. Am I right to move on? Do you picture this going differently? Like I do see some sort of action to be like, hey, I still think about you, or I don't know. If you were involved with someone who was married and they have children, you might get some sort of sign from the universe that is saying, hey, you essentially need to cut this out of your life because it's not doing you any favors romanticizing someone who's literally like growing their family, right? That's pretty much an indication that they're, well, I mean, not necessarily, like I was going to say, invested in their family life, but I mean, I don't know, sometimes pregnancy comes into it with the Empress. For a lot of you, I almost think this person is looking for reassurance that they made the right choice to let you go. And I mean, you know, you're in theory, I'm phrasing this as, are they still into you? Are they still thinking about you? For some of them, something may have left a bitter taste in their mouth and they're still processing the feelings of some sort of circumstance or scenario, something that went down between you. They definitely still think about it. I think they're hoping and wishing that major transformation could come out of this. I see that 3 times. It's like, you know, the insect, the cocoon, like, is this eventually going to become some beautiful creature? You know, the birthing of a baby, even with kind of like the sickle death energy here. It's like, ultimately the Scorpio energy says, hey, is this going to transform? Was there some sort of lack mentality or, again, financial issues coming into this? It's so funny. I almost called you Scorpio. So I'm wondering if there's a Scorpio involved here or if that is strong in your chart. But I don't know, sometimes the Four of Pentacles can be like poverty mindset or lack mentality of like, oh, it's just not reasonable, it's just not practical, we can't make it work. I'm sensing that more on your person's end. And, you know, you being a fire sign, a Leo, unless you're very earthy, which maybe you are, but I kind of see Leo as the more optimistic of the energy I see here of like, well, we're passionate about it and we love each other, so of course we'll make it work. And this person seems to be a little bit more conservative in their approach, or a little bit more contrarian or naysayer, just like, oh no, I don't know, it's just we don't live close enough for this or that. I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably hoping your person is going to come around and make some sort of offer, you know, plant the seed for this to become something in the future. I do think you guys will talk again. I think, and I hate this to be a cop-out, I think time will tell. I think if there's equal desire to invest in this and see where it grows and continue to make it work even though it's not convenient. Something about that is coming through. There's the potential for this. You know, Venus, you know, it's a Venus card. Venus is all about connection and comfort and, you know, romantic attraction, that sort of thing. I think there's the desire. Again, it's like, can we make it work? Is the practicality there? Is this person willing to put more time and effort into the relationship, not just their financial health or their, you know what I mean? So I don't know. This one, maybe. Of all of them, it's been the most optimistic. I'll say that. Is there anything that can help guide this reading for Leo? Something that maybe their person wants to say or is contemplating? Anything that would be helpful? Oh, look at that. I wish you would come back. You're one of the good ones, Leo. Anything else that would be helpful for Leo to hear? Anything else? I feel like Spirit's like, don't push your luck. Let's see. I fear that you will reject me. Your body language says so much. Yeah, I don't know. These two cards can be kind of withdrawn or withheld. And so maybe if you felt like this person was rejecting you or withdrawing their energy, maybe you started to match that, even though, again, it's almost like the feelings were there, but it got complicated, or I don't know, something here. Yours is by far the most optimistic. So this week, do I see miraculous changes? No, I think it's going to be slow, but potentially a conversation or a text, a phone call, I would say in the coming couple weeks, maybe a month. There's potential here. I think you guys could figure this out again if there's an equal desire and it's not like, oh, they're married. That's going to make it complicated. But, never say never. All right, Leo, that's what I got for you. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye. All right, Virgo. Virgo, sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. Here we go. Are they still into you? Are they still into you? The person on your mind, the person you're thinking about, the misconnection. Let's see. How is their energy presenting? Let's get some messages for Virgo's best and highest good about the person they're thinking about. How is this person presenting to me as the reader? Let's see. Ooh, so much regret. I have so many regrets, so much remorse. Trying to get their life back in order. Possibly throwing themselves into work. You might be dealing with a Libra. They may also be kind of in the thick of dealing with some sort of legal matter in their life. It's possible that they're dealing with a loss of some kind. I don't like to predict scary stuff, right? It may not resonate for everyone out there, but yeah, they may have lost a family member or lost a job or, had to fire an employee that they really liked. There's some sort of like having to release something, and yeah, it's obviously not a fun time, right? And there might be legalities involved there, possibly the idea of new contracts. There might be a lot of responsibility going on in their life right now, like people coming to them asking for help, asking for money. And it's like they're trying to maintain balance and chill, but, obviously maybe this ending has to do with you too, if they had to let you go, right? Maybe there was something bittersweet about it. And then 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, so money isn't everything, and that person has quickly learned that. And I don't know if that's in regards to them being too materialistic or too work-driven or too work-focused and realizing that they missed out on things in life. That's one possible narrative. Or it could kind of swing the opposite way. I don't know if, I'm going to paint the other scenario. Maybe you were dating someone who was kind of doing the starving artist thing, right? And they were happy doing it, but maybe their romantic life suffers because of that. Or maybe, something has come through that they didn't have that safety net of money, and it's really testing their endurance to kind of get through this, challenging time financially. They're definitely, for some of you, I definitely do see a storyline about something with maybe losing a parent or inheritance or dealing with legal matters, something of that sort. And I'm not really sure how that necessarily impacts you. Maybe it does. Maybe you guys went through a divorce or something. I don't know. But yeah, there seems to be like a lot of legal, financial stress, responsibilities that this person's having to sort out, things that possibly they've never had to do before. So they definitely have their hands full. There's some message here. This is kind of like sad. It's like their inner child is just like screaming because they want to be over this. They want to be out of this scenario. Their inner child is not happy. And I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but that's just sort of what I'm hearing. Maybe they literally have children too. I don't know, but there's something about the child isn't being tended to because there's a lot of like adulting and responsibilities, and this person isn't taking time to like have fun and enjoy life. And I mean, maybe they don't have the luxury of doing that right now, but it's like their inner child is not happy. Feelings for Virgo. How does this person feel? Queen of Cups. They do think of opening back up to you or reaching back out to you. They're wondering if they can sort of, this is a weird way of phrasing it, but like remove what went wrong or sort of maybe fix what was going on between you. This is an interesting Queen of Cups because her cup is open. She is looking at the water, right? She's not closing herself off to people or having sort of that bitter, vengeful look. It's not that at all. There's something about assessment here with this Queen of Cups, the assessment of emotions. Maybe they're wondering if you still have feelings for them. This card has come out for almost every sign. I'm not even joking. There is a theme this week of sort of the the consequences of our decisions or our actions in the past and how people are reacting to those, and sort of mentally preparing ourselves for battle or preparing ourselves for the repercussions, the reaction of a partner who maybe is still angry or still upset or still feeling hurt or wounded or victimized from something. And so I think this card has come up a lot because, obviously if this person isn't in your life anymore and you're thinking about each other, people do go through that thing of like, well, if I reach out, what would happen? And I think a lot of times people jump to the worst case scenario. And so I think that says a lot about like having faith in maybe themselves or maybe even their partner. Like if you're, this isn't necessarily directed to you, Virgo, just kind of the collective here, but like, if you're worried this person's going to bite your head off, well, why is that? Did you not end things well? Did you do something you shouldn't have done? Or were you dealing with someone who maybe wasn't emotionally stable and didn't practice good emotional intelligence? So that in itself, I don't want to call it a red flag, but that in itself is challenging if you're trying to get a relationship off the ground and you feel like you have to tiptoe around the communication with this person. Not a great sign, but here's the thing, it's coming up in their feelings. So maybe they're just insecure. Maybe they're fearful that if they were to reach out to you with some sort of truce or, peace offering or whatever this is, just hitting you up to say, hey, how you doing? What's up? I think they fear that it may open up the can of worms and you may come through as this sort of like, monstrous energy of just, like tearing them a new one because maybe things didn't end well. I don't know. That being said, I don't know all the details here, but something about whatever your person is going through, it feels very heavy. So, I'm an empath by nature, so part of me does feel bad about whatever this person is going through. Their energy does feel sad and weighted. And I'm not saying that to appeal to your empathetic side and like, oh, feel bad for them, take them back. It's not about that. It's just like, there's more going on behind the scenes that you're not necessarily privy to. And so if this person were to reach out, we'll talk about that. We're going to pull actions. I would hope it would appeal to like your gentle side and that you don't respond like this. And here's the thing. I don't think you would. I mean, this whole reading is about the person you're still thinking about. So if any of this is resonating, you're curious too. They're afraid to reach out to you, but the Queen of Cups to me says there definitely were emotions there, and they're still wondering if there is the potential of emotions there. I'll be honest, I even like this Emperor. I do. Typically the Emperor is very stoic, very guarded, or maybe not guarded, but very serious, very authoritarian. Here, there's like a more relaxed look on the Emperor. So this person is going through a transition in their life where they are having to step up and be more responsible. School of the hard knocks, karma in some sense. Because maybe, and again, this is just an example, if they were kind of doing the starving artist life or sort of taking for granted sort of the generosity of others, helping them, kind of skirt by or float by, something did kind of happen that was earth-shattering or life-shaking, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, I really got to step up and be better. And I think because of that, they're starting to realize that, hey, if I'm learning the ropes here and I'm stepping up and being better in this area, my job, my family, my this, maybe this is going to translate into my romantic life where maybe I'm in a better position to be in a romantic relationship. I'm not saying literally right now, but I do think that's this assessment of like something about them has really like they've had to learn something the hard way. And I do think they look back and wish that they could have offered you more. That's sort of what I'm seeing. I think this person has a very protective nature. I think there's something about, I don't know, there's a couple things coming through. The idea, they may have control issues, right? But I don't know, this Emperor doesn't look abusive or power hungry to me. It feels very much like father figure, if you will, whether it's male or female. And with the Queen of Cups, it could easily be kind of like the nurturing mother energy. Part of what they seek in relationships, I don't know if they look to be the parent or it's almost like they fill the role of child and they're looking for someone to nurture them and to take care of them. And so maybe with the Justice card, that's had to come back into balance where it's like, no. In a relationship, it has to be an equal playing field. It can't be like someone has more power over the other or vice versa. I do think this person ideally, right, if they were in a good place in their life, would want to take on a stronger role and like, how do I say this? take care of you. It's kind of like daddy energy a little bit. And I'm not saying that they were able to do that before. Maybe they were. Maybe they were. I mean, maybe this Ten of Pentacles says they did have a lot of money, right? Maybe it's not the starving artist thing. Maybe that was you. I don't know. That's coming up for a reason. There may have been a lot of differences in finances, or yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Something, it's like we're trying to reestablish balance in our own life, or at least this person is. But I think this person is quietly watching you, if that makes sense. I don't know if you see them or if they see you on social media. I almost think this person is trying to manifest you back because they don't necessarily want to take the risk of reaching out. I think they're just hoping that, I don't know, your emotions will get the best of you and that you'll come to them. But I don't see them as being super selfish. I think they're wanting to open up to you more in ways that they couldn't before. Now, will they? Let's look at actions. For Virgo, what is the potential action of this person? Are they going to do anything or make any moves towards Virgo in the near future? Let's say in the next couple weeks, the next month. They're playing coy. They're like, oh, hi, I didn't see you there. They may purposely try and run into you, or they might be performing on social media a little bit. It doesn't come off as like super showy and super like, you know, peacocking. It's like a subtle like, oh, hi, I didn't see you there. They definitely saw you there. Like if they know you go to a certain gym or a certain cafe, it's not that they're stalking you. Don't get me wrong. I actually don't get that vibe at all. It's that they're wanting to bump into you, but not have it be, I'm on my hands and knees and I want you back. And I don't know if it's that extreme. I don't sense that. I think there is a maturity, I have to be honest, which I do kind of like. With the Queen of Cups and the Emperor, we were getting a lot of pages and a lot of knights and all the other readings. You have an Emperor, you have a Queen of Cups, so like emotionally and sort of, again, like being the best version of oneself. They're working towards it. They have some demons to slay, so to say, in their own life. But I think this person is wanting to show up and act better and be more responsible and be more in control, if that makes sense, but maybe that has to do with it in their own life. Actions. I think this person wants to acknowledge that you did a lot for them, or they do want to acknowledge that you guys did share something special, like you didn't imagine it. This person may even give you some sort of compliment or praise or attention. Again, I don't know if that's happening on social media. But there's a recognition of something that you gave to them. And maybe it wasn't a literal gift. Maybe it was just your energy, your time, your kindness. Maybe if you know that they're going through a loss, maybe you did reach out. You know, maybe you said, oh, I'm so sorry about this or that. And maybe they reach back out to acknowledge that and use that as a way to start up a conversation because it's easier. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's almost like if you know that they're in a vulnerable spot, maybe it's like they're using that to their advantage so that they don't poke the bear of something that was very agitating between you guys. Action. They're going through a hard time. I don't think they're in a place to give you too much. And I think you know that. So if you cater your expectations here, and I'm not saying you have to, I'm just reading for the person you're thinking about. I do think there might be a small acknowledgement. You guys may even look back on something they gave to you, like a totem or a little gift, something that reminds you of them. I think there's a little bit of nostalgia. But right now, there's some sort of battle that, generally speaking, they have to fight on their own. You can't come in and rescue them. And so, honestly, I've been saying this a lot to people. I know it's cheesy, but it's kind of like if you love something, set it free. I think it would mean more for this person to come back to you and make it right than for you to reach out and give them the chance yet again to, like, make it right. Do you, like, allow them to come to you? And they might, you guys. To be honest, this is more... I see more potential in this than a lot of the other readings I've gotten so far. So far, Leo and Virgo have one of the better ones. Especially if you're dealing with a Leo, there's a lot more potential there. You do have another Virgo card here. Aries, Cancer, Libra, Gemini. It could really be any water sign, though. What would this person say currently? What is their current energy? What would be helpful for Virgo to hear? What would this person say? Ooh, they would say a lot. I never want to feel that way again. Let's see. I never used to look at you in that way. And then you're so easy to see through. So I don't hate that. I know that I don't know, something about that could initially sound condescending, but the way I see that, it's almost like you did wear your heart on your sleeve. They know you were a good one. I think they know that you were a good presence in their life. Maybe they just weren't able to give you what you wanted, or they weren't able to reciprocate something as much as you wanted or they wanted to. I do think because of some sort of major change or transformation, I think they are starting to see where maybe they took your feelings for granted, or maybe they played some games not realizing that it would hurt you in the long run. That's what I view from this. I never used to look at you in that way. They suddenly have a new appreciation for what you were doing, just in your own life, but also for them. Again, your generosity, your kindness, your gracefulness, whatever it is, they're starting to see like, wow, Virgo really had it going on in ways that I couldn't appreciate at the time because I just simply didn't know. Again, something about maybe taking it for granted. So interesting. This definitely feels like a ... I wouldn't expect miracles in the next 2 weeks, but I think maybe in time. Don't put your life on pause for anyone. You guys know I have to advocate that. Focus on you, self-love first. Put yourself out there. But I wouldn't be surprised if you guys at least interact again. That's what I see. All right, thanks so much, Virgo. Please do like, share, subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you next week for more tarot. Bye, guys. All right, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. The person you're thinking about, are they still into you? Are they still into you? The person Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus sign is thinking about. Let's give them some messages with some clarity here, as much as we're allowed to know about their person of interest. How is this person presenting right now? What is their current energy? Oof, they're exhausted. They're trying to liberate themselves from a difficult situation. They might be really stressed out at work, or if they're helping out with a friend, a colleague, a parent, it's like they're ready for this project to be over, whatever it is. Yeah, because something came through in their life that was really earth-shattering or putting out fires. Yeah, so I mean, whatever happened between you guys, if you're like, they were faking it, they made it up, like they lied to me, they weren't. They were going through some heavy shit. I just got to be honest with you, Libra. Pardon my French. Have to be classy in the Libra reading, right? No cursing. All right, so what is their energy? They are stressed out, but they are trying to work through something and remove themselves from a very difficult situation. Now, that might not be in their control. Frequently, the Tower, it's like you got to pay the piper. It's karmic in some way. They're meant to learn something from this experience, but all right. All right, so what are their feelings? How are they feeling towards Libra currently? Are there any feelings or emotions there? Are they still into them? Ooh, the Ten of Swords. There's a very heaviness when they think about you. They probably feel like they let you down. Yeah, because you were the prize. Like, you were the Empress. They know they screwed up. Or they know that you deserved better. And maybe if they were the ones who left, it's probably because they knew they couldn't give you what you needed or what you deserved. I do think they hold you in very high regard, but they definitely acknowledge that they hurt you. And I think there's a lot of guilt or shame or disappointment. There's probably a lot of self-criticism. Now, that being said, it could be that something pulled them away from you that was out of their control. For one, I don't know why I'm getting this, but for one or two of you, this is a very unusual scenario, but this is for one or two. They may have been hit up by an ex who like revealed that they were pregnant, or some person in their life was going through something very major, and somehow they were entangled in it or a part of it, or they had to help be part of the solution. Yeah, there could have been something to do with pregnancy, but it doesn't have to be. Or again, like, yeah, if they were kind of sort of in a relationship, or you may have found out that they were married, even though they were planning on leaving that marriage, and then they didn't. And then, you know what I mean? Like, there could have been kind of something like, it's on the brink of divorce, but that's neither here nor there, because it's not your job to wait for them. Ultimately, the message, though, is that they're going through it, and they do know that they should have treated you better and not taken you for granted. In some ways, this person might not feel like they totally deserve you, because maybe they don't have their life together as much as it looked. And so maybe they didn't want to draw you into sort of their own drama or chaos or craziness. And I'm not saying your person is crazy, right? Don't take it like that. It's just they have stuff. They get, like, look at these cards, you guys. Like, they have 2 10s. They have 2 10s and the 8 of Swords in the Tower. Like, oof, I would not want to switch places with your person. Let me put it that way. In regards for the feelings, I'm hearing like it didn't quite get far enough for them, or they retracted before they got in too deep. They may have left you waiting too. There may have been a scenario where they didn't show up or they didn't respond. Something about they left you on red or they left you waiting. They do feel guilty about that. Right now, they don't feel like they have any more energy to try and make this happen or to put into it. Typically, the Five of Cards. Typically, the Five of Wands is a very energized card, right? Everybody's like going at it, so to say, right? It can be very sexual, playful, flirty energy, or it can be very combative and quarrelsome, right? It can be a fighting card. Here, it's like everyone's just like, I'm going to take 5. Like, I'm going to take a seat on the bench. Like, yeah, like, there's just something here where it's like everybody's out of gas. Everybody's out of energy. It's like, you good, bro? Like, I need to take a minute. Like, that's sort of where this is at. So, like, I think they admire you. Let me put it that way. Again, they hold you in high regard. The feelings associated with you are like, wow, like, Libra's a good one. But with that, it's not like Libra's the one I want. It's like, I have too much going on, or I don't deserve them, or I think they're worried it would be energy wasted trying to get you back. So it's almost like they're trying to come to terms with the ending of it. They're still sort of emotionally processing what happened. And for a lot of you, it very much feels karmic in that this person was pulled away. The universe brought them away for a reason. Because I'll say, just for the time being, I'm not saying forever, you guys weren't meant to be together in this very moment. So in some ways, I know this hurts to hear, but acknowledge that the universe did exactly what it was supposed to do. And so if you're not with this person, good, like, you're on the right path, right? Now, I'm not saying it could never come together, but the reason why that's so important is because there's something that you guys were meant to do individually or off in your own lives that wouldn't have happened otherwise had this come together. So I don't know if it's like rejection is divine protection, but there's a certain goalpost that you both are supposed to meet, and the universe is like, separate those two for now, right? So let's see potential action towards you in the future. And for some of you, maybe the universe is acknowledging, you know, you deserve better than this. You know you want more, so don't settle for less. Because this person isn't fighting for you at this point. And to be honest, guys, they can't. Like, I just keep wanting to say, they are exhausted. They don't have time to date, you know? So even if they were to come back in, it would be very lackluster, and you don't want that, right? With the Empress, it's like you need all the bells and whistles and to feel loved, to feel acknowledged, to feel appreciated. Because Libra, isn't that what you would do for someone else? Right? It has to go both ways. Balance, equilibrium, the scales. You guys are like, yeah. All right. Woo, that flew out. This feels like it's over here. There's illusion here. I'm hearing like, are you a man or a mouse? I think this person may have presented as very like confident, you know, athletic jock. I have it all together, business savvy, businessman, woman, whatever. But they're meek on the inside. There's something about, I'm hearing like meet your maker. Something has brought them down to their knees. So whatever sort of peacocking or, you know, puffy chestedness that they had, or whoever it is, right? There was something that you viewed as very having it together and knight in shining armor or whatever. Not anymore. Or again, something about the illusion of that. I think you didn't see all that there was. And I'm not saying this person is bad or conniving or a liar or malicious. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there was smog. There was smoke. There was fog. There was illusion. There was like a Neptune fantasy and idealism attached to how you viewed this person. But eventually it's like that fog comes down. It gets like, do you know what it clears, I guess I should say. That fog clears and you start to see things as they really are. And that's what's going on in this person's life too. All right, potential actions towards Libra in let's say in the next like 3 or 4 weeks. Is there going to be any action, any conversation? Oh gosh, they keep flying out over here. Did I not get it, Spirit? Are they like, I think the universe is saying, do you really, really want this? And if you're like nodding your head, yes, I do. I think the universe is saying, but why though? And I don't mean that in a judgmental way. The universe is saying, what about this person was so right in your mind and so alluring and so perfect? Are those qualities that you need to sort of invigorate in yourself or lean into yourself so that you no longer put it on a pedestal. It just becomes a part of you so that you're not projecting it onto someone else. Yeah, it's like making it a part of you, whether it was a physical thing, a beauty thing, a money thing, or whatever it was about this person. What if you adopted those qualities into yourself so that you weren't constantly searching for it out in the world? It just became a part of you. That's really important. There's a mirror image here. And so something about the illusion of having it all together or the pretending, there's something about you both need to step more into your authenticity. And again, I'm not saying anyone is being shisty or shady per se. It's that we're pretending to be something we're not in order to make ourselves more attractive or appealing to others. And the universe is saying you don't have to do that. You just have to be yourself. You're never going to scare off the right person, you know? All right. They're not really telling me action. Is there going to be any? This is about loving yourself first. I said it to everyone. If you love something, set it free. You can't control this. There's something about the idea of a warm embrace, maybe a warm goodbye, and acknowledging an ending. And it is, I don't know if it's bittersweet. I think for you, there's a lot of emotions attached to it. But ultimately, you have to let this go right now. That's what the message is. Because, yeah, you have bigger fish to fry. You have other things that you're meant to accomplish and other journeys you're supposed to embark on. And something about this connection would have held you back. That's the message here, guys. It's like you both have things you have to take care of. So maybe if you go off and live your life and do your best to disconnect from this and really focus on yourself and your own goals or whatever, go out and date more people, maybe this will come back around again when you're both in a better spot. But right now it's like there's an inner battle going on for both of you, striving for authentic self-expression, being comfortable in your own skin. Yeah, it's almost like you're healing yourself back to health, and rather than looking at other people to help be the one to nurture or give you praise, applause, attention. And maybe this goes both ways, right? There's something about acknowledging that in yourself, and it's like a heart chakra opening. Libra, you're very quick to dote on others, to heal others, to mend others. But what if you kind of brought that loving, nurturing energy back to yourself? Think how unstoppable you would be. There's an element of a chaser in you, and the universe is saying, don't do that anymore. No more chasing. No more going after people who are runners either, right? All right. What would this person say? What would this person say to Libra? Messages for Libra's best and highest good. I hope I did this justice. There is something about a mirror image and illusion, smoke, fog, things not being as they seem. I don't trust you. Interesting. I can still see you standing there. What did you want from me? Any other thing? We are not right for each other. You are so easy to see through. Virgo got that too, and I said there's something about wearing your heart on your sleeve. And to be honest, I think that's what this is about. I don't trust you. Unless you were doing the whole smoke and mirrors thing, which I don't think most of you were. It's almost like you're too good. You're too good for me. You're too sweet. You're too innocent. And whatever this person is going through, I don't think they wanted to bring you through that, because they do see you as the Empress, right? There's sort of that, like, you know how when someone's pregnant, there's this new vibe in the room. It's like we have to talk softer. We have to be very, generous towards this person and, offer her the seat. And there's human life inside of her, right? In metaphor, the Empress is like, you have to treat her, as if she's the Empress, she's beautiful and she's, that sort of thing. I'm not explaining that well, but there's like an energy about the Empress, and that's what I think this person isn't ready for. It's like, you're too good to be true. I think maybe they were in disbelief of that, and it may come from a place of not feeling like they deserve that. There may have been another wife involved at some point too. Like, I'm not certain that that's not the case. This person maybe could have been rebounding and then got back with their ex potentially. They obviously know that they let you down. But yeah, there was something about you sort of knew why they weren't able to make this happen. I think that's what this card is acknowledging. Like, it's not as easy as you want to believe it is. Like, if they just did that, but whatever that is, it's more difficult than just doing it, or else they would have done it already. Or they weren't in a place where they were ready to do it or wanting to do it. So right now, again, this is about going off into your own life and living your best life. And who knows? But yeah, right now, the best advice or guidance is like, the Hangman leads to the Death card. You're about to embark on your own major journey of transformation. So prepare for that. Mentally prepare yourself. Let this go so that it doesn't become sort of like baggage that you're dragging behind you. Set yourself free from this. That's what I would say, Libra. Oof, I know these messages are heavy this week, guys, but thank you for showing up. I hope this was helpful. That's always my goal and my intent. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next week for more tarot. Bye, Libra. All right, beautiful Scorpios. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, are they still into you? That person you're thinking about, that person probably from your past, or that person who you have some confusion over, hang-ups. Let's see. How's their energy presenting? Messages for Scorpios, best and highest good, please, about the person on their mind. Are they still into Scorpio? How are they presenting? What is their energy right now? Ooh, all right. Struggle to win. Oh, they might be in competition for your attention. Sending messages, sending happy messages. All right, let's see. They might be traveling. Aiming for something big. It's like they have big career goals. The Star. All right, guys, so far I kind of like your person. Why are we mad at them? Or why are we not talking to them? No, I'm sure it's more complicated than that. Aquarius, Sagittarius, Leo, potentially. It doesn't have to be. This very much feels like, Sun and Star, it's like they have stars in their eyes. They have a big vision. And so if this has to do with you, we'll pull cards on their feelings for you and their actions, but it's almost like they're taking aim. It's like they want to reach out, or again, if this has to do with like career stuff, it's like they have very big plans for the future and like they're going to make it happen. Very, very good work ethic is what I see, balanced with taking some time for self-care, healing their body, taking time for themselves. It's like they're trying to reset their energy, because it's not work hard, play hard. It's almost like, this is a weird way of phrasing it, but it's like work hard, rest hard, which I actually really like, because it's like they take care of their bodies so that they're able to wake up each day, give it their all, and then, whatever they do, yoga, meditation, whatever, there's something like, okay, I got to come back down into my body and like settle my energy, because they know you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So it's like there's something very spiritual about your person, where it's like their body is their temple. And so if they're going to have the great output to achieve all their goals and long-term visions, and this likely has to do with their love life as well, they know they have to take care of themselves. And maybe that's what came through, is they had to put themselves first. I don't necessarily see it in a selfish way, but again, maybe it's complicated. So I don't know. So far, I like that. I'll be honest, guys. Like, these readings have been rough. Like every reading has been like, 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands, like Tower moment, 9 of Swords. So let's see. What is this person's feelings for Scorpio? Wouldn't it be great if Scorpio got a great reading? Let's see. I got to tell it though. I'm gonna. Leo had an okay reading. Virgo had an okay one as well. Let's see. So let me refocus my energy. Sorry. Chatty. I'm sorry, Scorpio. I'm being chatty in your reading. What is this person's feelings for Scorpio? How do they feel when they think about the connection with Scorpio? What are the feelings there? All right. They do think about it. There's something about it's like a dance. They don't want to say too much. They want to reveal a little bit, but they don't want to rock the boat. They feel like they have to approach you cautiously. They also maybe worry that they don't have your full attention. So again, something about they fear that they're maybe in competition for your attention. Like maybe you had someone else, or you have someone else. Or they fear that something else is swooping in. What does that mean? Like maybe they knew that you had a connection to your ex, and they were kind of living in this state of, well, wait a minute, are they still into their ex? Like they may have had questions about your options. Let's put it that way. Their feelings. Aww, Scorpio, Queen of Cups. I like this Queen of Cups. Somebody else had that. This Queen of Cups has her cup open, so she's very much an assessment of the emotions and looking to see if there's anything left in there. And look at this. This is so cute. It looks like, like a cat or a dog, like rubbing up against its owner, like, hey, pay attention to me. I really like you. You have kings and queens. I'm going to put it that way. So in theory, I like it if it's like, hey, this person could really take care of you. They still have feelings. They're wondering if you have feelings too. If these two queens represent sort of their need to balance the emotions with the logic, I like it because there's earthy energy sitting right in the middle. And to be honest, that's kind of what I was getting with this energy is your person actually seems kind of like they have it together. So maybe it was something that you weren't ready to accept in your life. I don't know. You tell me. Unless the other option here, if it's not this, balance between logic, mind, body, spirit, this great energy, I am wondering if there is competition, whether you yourself are male or female or whatever you identify with. Again, it could be sort of this idea of multiple people vying for your attention. And in some ways, I think your person, as much as it's coming through, is competing for your love. At a certain point, they were like, yeah, but you know what? I'm better than that. Like, if I have to prove my love to Scorpio, I'm going to dip out because it's like I have too much self-respect to play that game. And no offense, Scorpio. I'm not saying that you were trying to be shisty or secretive about who your connections were with. But, I have to be honest, that message is coming out for some of you. And sometimes these messages go vice versa. So, bear in mind, you can always swap the characters going on here. But, I mean, they have fire, they have air, they have earth, they have water. And they have the star and the sun, which in my opinion can be two very fortuitous cards. So I like this. Can I get one more card? Okay, they're saying switch decks. Feelings from Scorpio's person. Look at that. I wish you would come back and I fantasize about you. Scorpio. Damn, Scorpio. Scorpio just leaned in like, wait, really? All right. So potential actions? That's sort of like the big killer of these energies. It's like this person may have feelings and think about you, but will they take action? Are they actually going to step up and do something or say something? Let's see. Let's hope for the best, Scorp. What is this person going to do? I fantasize about you. That could very much be Queen of Swords too, like living in their head. I do think, though, that this person practices emotional intelligence. I don't get like this clingy, needy, messy, pass me the tissues because I can't stop crying energy. I think this person puts on a brave face. I think this person has probably been in situations where they've put their own dignity or self-respect on the line to get the approval of others or to prove themselves. And it's almost like they've drawn a line in the sand, like, I'm not going to do that anymore. So maybe this is an ex that you've had an on-again, off-again thing with. And again, I don't mean to make you the bad guy, Scorpio. This is probably cross-watchery type stuff. But if you are expecting them to just come back, it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. Why isn't my person doing that? And because they're not doing that anymore. It's like this, I'm going to fuel myself first. I'm going to feed my own energy first. There is something kind of tempting about them, though. You like their body. You think about their body. Anytime the star card comes up, or what is it, the other one? I don't know. It's definitely like thinking about each other naked. Scorpio. Only in a Scorpio reading. All right, anyway, sorry. Here we go. Actions. Is this person going to make any action towards Scorpio, or there be any movement, conversation? Let's see. Okay, Page of Pentacles. There might even be an apology or a truce, and an icebreaker of sorts, and an assessment. All right. So this is interesting. You do have a pairing here, right? You have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. It's not about the gender, right? It's about the elemental pairing. They speak the earthy language, if you will. And then you have the Page of Pentacles. So this feels like they are sending their friends out to get intel on you. That actually feels very Scorpio. Maybe you're dealing with another Scorpio. Or again, messages, like trying to send messages across or see what's going on in the distance. They may, if you have mutual friends in common, they're having their friends find out if you're still single or if you're available. It's like they're sending messengers out to find out what's going on in your life. If they're not in your life, currently, if you're not talking. I do think they're preparing an offer for you too in some capacity. If the whole friends metaphor doesn't make sense to you, and it won't for everybody, there is something about the assessment of wanting to come back, but making sure they actually have something good to offer. So it's almost like they're trying to raise the stakes. Like rather than come in as a page, they're wanting to perfect. This doesn't make sense, but I think it's a metaphor, right? It's like they're wanting to perfect this pentacle that they're going to offer and make it more of like a queen's offer, right? That sort of thing. So that, again, it's in alignment with like this King of Pentacles. They like your touch. There's something kind of sensual about your energy, or they want you to touch them. They want you to kiss them. They want to cuddle with you. There's something about like the physical body and the sensuality and the touching. That's really important, which, I mean, obviously, right, it's a romantic reading, but especially with the Taurian King of Pentacles energy, that's super important. The sensuality involving all the senses, you know, the touch, the taste, the smell. That's very important. The tactile stuff. There's a lot of assessment going on. Like if they're going to come back, they want to come right. And so maybe they're making sure maybe it's like they're trying to secure something in their future or some sort of personal goal so that once they have that, they're ready to come back into your life and make a good offer. You know, maybe they're really focused on money and finances because, you know, they want to move into a better, I don't know, space, or they want to move into a better apartment, or I don't know, they're like building their business or something like that, This person might work with children. There may also be something to do with finances and traveling, or needing to settle some sort of contract that involves travel. There's absolutely feelings there. They absolutely think about you. I don't know if you see them as a viable candidate for what you're looking for. I mean, obviously you're watching this because you're curious. There's definitely thought of trying to make an offer, but I wonder if you, Scorpio, are like, it's below me now, or they missed out on the opportunity. But I don't think that's true. I don't know, something about this bunny. It's like there's gonna be a good luck associated with this. What is that about? Yeah, they are focused on themselves right now. Not in this, yeah, look at that. Okay, thank you. They're focused on themselves right now, not in a selfish way, in a self-care way. That's what I said. It's like work hard, rest hard, work hard, you know, tend to oneself hard. It's like very much like Rocky running up the steps. It's like they have a vision and nothing is going to stop them. Nothing's going to break them until they reach that personal goal for themselves. Then when they feel like they have something to offer, or they've built up their own sense of self-worth or confidence, if that was struggling, they're getting better every day. They're getting stronger every day. Maybe they were healing. Maybe they had some sort of illness, right? I don't know. They are trying to become the best version of themselves. And I don't know, until then, it's like they are resisting the temptation to date around, or to venture into love, or to make an offer to you. Maybe if they are dating around, it's very casual. If they do come back to you, Scorpio, they know it's for something very loyal and very committed. So if that's not something you're looking for, then that may not end up working. And I mean, King and Queen of Pentacles are very committed, very traditional, like, let's make the history books till death do us part, right? This is like, I got to make myself strong so that if I come back into Scorpio's life, like, they can't resist me, right? They want to make themselves the most appealing and attractive they can to you, maybe because they have to do some damage repair, right? I don't know. But I don't sense that they're playing games. You do have a lot of people, though, going on. So it wouldn't surprise me if you were watching this about your ex, if you were kind of sort of dating someone else. That's sort of the impression I get, but they don't appear to be in your life yet. But this is a person who's about to send a message, Scorp. The star card has to do with wishes and dreams coming into alignment, coming true. The Queen of Pentacles doesn't give offers. She accepts them. And I think that's coming up in actions towards you. So it's like, there's something about maybe going back to the drawing board to refine the offer, or to make it better, or maybe they were about to reach out to you and then they had some sort of commitment come through, but they see that as being beneficial. Like something about holding off for the time being is what's in their game plan. So don't take that as a negative message. Like, if anything, this is probably the most positive reading I've gotten so far. What's wanting to show? Look at that. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, you're going to marry this person. No, I'm not going to jump there. That was a big leap, Scorpio. It's funny. I just looked at the clock and it said 13. That's your number. That's the death card. Major transformations are on the horizon in this connection. Honestly, this is one of the best readings. This is the best reading I've had so far. And I'm so happy it's for Scorpio. Yay. I'm team Scorpio. I mean, not really, but like I'm a Scorpio moon, so I'm always rooting for you guys. And you guys always have such heavy messages. So woo, Scorpio, this looks good. Let me know in the comments below if it resonates. Please do like, share, subscribe, guys. That would mean the world to me. I'm trying so hard to grow this channel. So please like the video. I would super duper appreciate it. And I will see you next week for more tarot. Bye, Scorpio. All right, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Are they still into you? That person you're thinking about, the one that got away, the one that's still on your mind, the one you think about from time to time. We're going to look at that person's energy, their feelings for you, if any, and potential actions with them in the future. So here we go. Sagittarius, the person they're thinking about. Let's get them some clear, helpful, insightful messages that bring them a little bit of clarity on the person they're thinking about. So how is this person presenting this week? Sagittarius, this person, how are they presenting? Let's see. It's like they're waiting for a sign. It's like, give me a sign. Possibly a very spiritual person. Being cautious in their approach. Really doing a lot of assessment of their feelings, why they're feeling this way, maybe wondering if you have other options. They're definitely kind of taking the higher road, I want to say, and trying to see the full picture, get a good perspective on things, not just get lost in the sauce of their own emotions. Yeah, they're approaching things with balance, with caution, with hoping to get some sort of clarity. But yeah, they're presenting kind of with good equilibrium this week. So let's see. You might be dealing with a Libra. It's possible. They might be sort of trying to get a pulse on if you are in a contract, quote unquote, contract relationship with someone else too. They might be trying to get some intel, some information on you. How is this person feeling? Whoa. Well, those came out. You're still the one they want. Relax. The Four of Swords says relax. You can exhale. They still think you're cute as AF. The wish fulfillment card with the Empress, that's very positive energy. It's like feeling very satisfied and very happy with their pick, or a vision of having a very satisfying future together. They see you as sort of like the prize at the end of the road. But I don't know, with the Four of Swords though, it's almost like they know right now might not be the best time for them to try and re-enter your life, or maybe they're not quite ready to reach out to you, but they still dream about you actively, I would say. I think there's a lot of feelings there. I think they hold you in very high regard. This message has come out a lot, but they may feel a little bit lackluster about themselves or their money or what they are able to provide in some sort of financial way. Even if that's not something you're requiring of them, there could be confusion about money or a lack of clarity about money, and so maybe that weighs on like their self-confidence in terms of not really feeling like their life is fully together. Like maybe they met you at a transitional time and they're trying to get their ducks in a row, and then love happens when you least expect it. So it almost feels like they had to pull back because they know that they weren't in a good spot to do the relationship and their life in good balance. And so they had to be a little bit self-focused, but I do think there's emotions there. I think one day they see themselves wanting to rekindle something with you or reach out to you. All right, so let's look at their potential action. You have cups in the emotions, and not only that, a good cup card. So I do like that. They're biding their time. I don't know if that's the right use of words, but they're trying to be patient and not lean into sort of abrupt. I'm hearing abrupt. They're trying not to like rush in or be too erratic in their behavior. They're really wanting to weigh things out. And then, yeah, as the Seven of Pentacles comes out, literally the assessment card. 2 sevens. Again, something about money and finances might be in flux right now. Maybe they're thinking of leaving a job or starting a new one, and so maybe it's like they're trying to get like that kind of nest egg settled away so that they can put more time into romantic relationships. But I do sort of get the idea that romance is on the back burner for them right now, or it's just not the focal point. Potential action towards Sagittarius. They look back and they're confused about how things went down, or there's a lot of uncertainty. Maybe they're not certain how you would react if they tried to come back into your life. Yeah, because for one or both people, there was a lot of pain. This doesn't seem like someone who's super maniacal though. I don't get I'm not on anyone's team. I'm trying to be unbiased and just read the cards as they are, but I don't really get the fact that you were dealing with someone who was, abusive or narcissist or whatever. I think by default, if you guys wanted to be together and something served as an obstacle and got in the way of that. I think both people were disappointed with how things turned out. That's how I would summarize this. Both people have disappointments. Maybe some person experienced a lot more pain or had a more dramatic emotional response to this. But for a lot of you, it almost feels like they're apprehensive to make a move because they almost don't want to poke the bear. They may worry that you still hold a grudge against them, or that you haven't fully healed from it. And so it's like, I don't know, I'm almost sort of hearing that phrase of like, rip the Band-Aid off. They don't want to do that. They want to make sure that you've healed and then ironically come back into your life when you're better. But I don't know. I don't know the severity of this. Tell me a little bit more. I don't see a lot of action cards. I think there's a lot of cerebral mental energy, right, with the swords. There's clouds and there's confusion, both with the Seven of Cups and the Five of Swords. Did things go the way I had thought they did at the time, or was I under some sort of spell or illusion, or was I so in the thick of it I didn't see the forest from the trees? I do think there might be some regrets. Yes and no, though. I do think this person made the decision they had to make based on the chapter that they were living in their life. It feels like timing was weird when you guys met and something couldn't come together the way one or both of you had hoped. Now, I mean, in theory, you're watching this wondering about this person. Are they going to come back? I do think the feelings are there. I think whatever it is they're trying to figure out in their own life, they're making strides. They're making progress. They don't have total clarity. But with that, are they going to take any action? To be honest, not this week by a long shot, but in the future, I don't know, this seems, okay, they're telling me to switch decks. In the future, it seems like there's a ... What would this person say to Sagittarius? And I mean, do keep in mind, sometimes the roles go reverse. So if you were the one who broke it off, maybe this person, even though they hold you in high regard and wish you had chose them, maybe they still have a lot of pain surrounding sort of your guys' breakup. What would this person say to Sagittarius if they could send them a message or speak openly and not be self-conscious? What would this person say? They don't know what to say. Aw, your person. Don't know what to say to make it better. Don't know what to say to make it different. I don't need your approval. And I think for a while they did. That seems to be a major shift going on, is maybe coming into a place of more self-love and self-care. It feels like maybe your person went through a chapter in life where they were dating because they needed the applause and the praise and the attention and the recognition from their romantic partner because it was something they couldn't do for themselves. And so now they've started to lean more into self-love. They're starting to practice self-love more, and they know that like it has to start with them. So in a lot of ways, it's almost like they're learning to love themselves. And so I don't take this as super offensive, but it's not like I don't need you the way I thought I did, because I think they came to realize you weren't the missing piece. Like they were whole in and of themselves. You were just, extra, cherry on the cake, so to say. I think, coming from a place of lack of self-love, that's something that they've had to learn about, and maybe the hard way too, and vice versa, right? Everybody we meet really holds a mirror up to ourselves. So in some ways, maybe you needed the applause and the praise and the approval, the attention, all those things, and maybe you're starting to realize too that no one is going to fill that void but you, right? So once you're coming from a place of wholeness and knowing that you're always enough on your own, that's very oftentimes when the good long-lasting relationship happens. Your body language says so much. So there's indecision here. It might feel like someone is still a little bit closed off. I love myself enough to walk away. That's sort of what we were saying here about sort of like needing to lean into more self-respect. And I do wish you well. So yeah, I don't know. Right now, it doesn't feel very like romantic, sexy, rekindling the vibes. It does feel like there's a place in their heart for you, and that whatever you guys went through, it was significant enough where it did leave a lasting impression, but it really made them assess themselves, their life, what they want in future relationships. So, I mean, whether it was a positive or negative experience, I think ultimately they're grateful it happened because it showed them what they needed to see ultimately about themselves, but it probably happened in a way that was not super comfortable, right? Change is never comfortable. It got them out of their comfort zone, that's for sure. And maybe showed them a part of your personality, but also a side of their personality and how they reacted to something that maybe they didn't like that about themselves, and it was something that they needed to work on. So I think both of you probably still have a lot of healing to do if this connection were to ever come back together, but I don't see that. I'm going to be honest, Sag, I don't see that in the next month. But this is not the worst reading I've had so far. And especially if you're cuspy with Scorpio, or if you have Venus in Scorpio, I would check that reading out. That one was a little bit more like, there was more potential there for a reunion sooner than later. So if the sign of Scorpio is significant to you, definitely watch that. All right, that's what I got for you, Sag. Thanks so much. Please do like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next week for more tarot. All right, Capricorn. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Are they still into you? That person you're thinking about, the one that got away, that person on your mind. Let's see where their energy is at. Do they have feelings for you, and will they take any action towards you? Well, your card is coming out, so let's see. Part of me is like, yeah, they're still obsessed with you. They can't take their eyes off of you. It's like a burden having met you, because I don't know, for some of you, it's coming through as obsession, and it is your card. Especially if you guys had any sort of physical connection, it's like that passions. There's no kink quite like a Capricorn kink, right? Let's see. They're trying to manifest you back. They acted like they didn't care. It almost feels like you guys had an argument and it was just like, fine, go then. But they very much are hoping you come back. Interesting. I actually haven't had one start off like this where it was like an instant yes. They still think about you. They want you back. It wasn't all easy, though. I mean, when the devil card shows up, there can be passion. There can be obsession. They had to let you go, though, for some reason. And maybe you guys, for one or two of you, maybe it's because you lived at a distance, right? Maybe there was like this isn't logical. This isn't practical. You know, the earthy type stuff where it's like, how can we make this work if we don't live, in the same state or on opposite coasts or whatever? This person might literally be traveling right now. It's like they're trying to shoo away the memory of you, but they can't. Yeah, I mean, look at this, you guys. I don't know if you guys are technically still together, or it's like I'm hearing Ross and Friends. It's like, we were on a break. But, what was that? Oh, sorry, something just fell off my table. We were on a break, literally, as something falls off my table. Interesting. It feels like they're quite literally falling for you, or have fallen for you. And they wish they could be around you and in your arms. This doesn't really, this is confusing to me because it kind of sort of feels like you guys are still together, but maybe it's just like the energy between you guys is so strong. So what are their feelings? I mean, I love that Two of Cups. I do. Hopefully it's not third party stuff. Hopefully this person isn't already married and you're the temptation. I'm hoping that's not the case. I don't get that as the strongest narrative coming through, but what are their feelings? So their feelings is like, do I jump on a plane and go visit them? Do I, like, part of me is like they're kind of, they're acting a little bit impulsive because what they're feeling for you is so strong. I don't think they are acting out of total logic or reason or clarity. It's sort of like the fear of losing you is really clouding their judgment, but also the obsession of like the passion or wanting to be with you. It's like they're ready to pack up and move into your house, or they're tempted to make some sort of extreme move in order to make this relationship work. But the universe is giving them major indications like, pump the brakes, buddy. And maybe you are too. Like, even if you had similar feelings of affection, you might not be ready to just like, lose yourself in the throes of love, right? You're kind of like, whoa. Like, I'm sort of getting the impression that's what's happening. I do think there is feelings there on your end, but I don't know if this person wanted too much too soon and it was overwhelming and you either broke it off or asked them to give you space. I don't know. Feelings? If they are acting aloof or doing like the whole, I'm seeing Ross on Friends like, I'm fine. They're not, though. They're scoping you out. I think this does have an element of obsession. So just be careful. I don't think it's dangerous for most of you, right? But, I do have to put the disclaimer, right? Like, use good judgment. They are scoping you out, and I think they're worried that they're going to lose you to competition, and that could be what this is too. They might be feeling like there's someone else in your opportunities. There's someone else that you might be sort of entangled with, or there's someone else who you might be tempted by, and so that's sort of why they're wanting to make this extreme move, almost as to have a better sense of control over it. And I don't necessarily mean control over you, but it's like they don't want this to slip from their fingers because, I don't know, whatever they got a taste of, they really liked Capricorn, so. Yeah, no, they want to cement plans with you. They want to make this happen because I think they really do love you and respect you and hold you in high regard. The Empress has come out. I think this person would do just about anything for you. And with that, I mean, there's a lot of power and responsibility too in how you handle this person and deal with them because if you're not interested, they seem to have mixed signals on that in general. And so I think it's really interesting too, because again, there is a lot of acting on impulse. Knight of Cups can be very dreamy, hopeless, romantic. Oh, it's all going to work out, like rose tinted glasses. There's a little bit of Pentacles, but it's back and forth. So some days there's the measure of practicality or using practicality, but generally speaking, where's the logic, right? Where's the sword energy? Where are we actually thinking things through? That's sort of where I'm a little bit like hesitant on this reading because I do feel like your person is wanting to take drastic action. But I don't know, you're presenting, whether you are male or female, whatever you identify with, it's almost like you're coming through as the Empress, which is it's much more in balance, and I would say it's using a lot more rationale and sanity here. This person is like ready to jump the gun and do something extreme, I think, in order to show you how devoted they are to you, but I'm sort of sensing a little bit of hesitation. But I do also sense that you like the attention. I think you like the flirting. And I don't know if that has stopped, if that has ceased. But I have no doubt that this is going to pick up again if you are open to that. Because this person hasn't given up on you. They may have even sent you love letters in the mail or sent some sort of very long, paragraph upon paragraph text to you. This could be sending messages from afar, saying, I can't stop thinking about you. Let's get back together. I miss having you in my arms. It feels very much like I'm lost without you. I'm lost without you. But you seem to be the one to pull the plug on this, you have the upper hand here is what I'm trying to say. That's why I think this person is like on and off, because they're taking their cues from you. They're waiting for a sign or a signal that you're like, yes, come back, or hop on the plane, or okay, I want to move in. The decision making seems to be up to you. So are there feelings there? Yeah, but they're sensing that you're wishy-washy on how to move forward with this because maybe you are. And for some of you, it might be because you already have another option. And so you're kind of having to do some heavy assessment of like, do I want to pursue two at once? Am I going to break it off with who I'm with to let this back? Like you have a lot of things to figure out, don't you? And if it's not multiple people, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's work-life balance. I don't know. So is this person going to take action towards Capricorn? Honestly, my answer is you have to give them the go-ahead because they don't know if it's safe. They don't know if they're allowed to do the big gesture that they want to do. Is this person going to make any moves or strides towards Capricorn? Is there going to be new commitment or new communication? I sense that there's competition for your attention or your affection. This person is very hard on themselves, and they worry that they're not going to measure up to your high standards. I don't think that they view you as being too picky or difficult. I think they know that you deserve a lot, and they're trying so hard to be that, but they feel like they always fall short, and they have a lot of self-worth issues where they never feel like they're going to measure up. And I'm almost getting that for you, Capricorn, that was a turnoff. It's like, I want you to be confident. Like, who doesn't want to date someone who's confident, right? Like, insecurity is such like a buzzkill. Do you know what I mean? Everybody wants to date someone confident, right? Easier said than done. I mean, everybody has their own insecurities, but that may have been sort of a particular issue is like, I want this person to be authentic and real and not always like catering to me. Like they may have been too coddling to your every wish and need and desire. And I don't know, some of you, it's like, I want them to have a brain of their own. I want them to have strong opinions on something. So it feels like you were maybe a little bit underwhelmed, or even if it did start off hot and heavy, the passion kind of drained out of this for you and you weren't left with too much. So yeah, you seem to be doing a lot of assessments on who you want to continue to build with. You may have another fire sign in the mix. I said another, interestingly enough. There might be a fire sign that is presenting here. I don't know if that's this person, but again, I do get the sense that you may have your eye on someone else, especially a fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sag. Could also maybe be a Taurus. Double Taurus energy. Maybe a Scorpio. I don't know. And there may also be another Capricorn in the mix here too. A couple Taurus, Pisces, whatever. It's almost like you have to step back and think about what you want, because obviously as a Capricorn, you're in it for the long haul, right? The longevity. Most of you anyway are not looking for like a quick one night stand, hit it and quit it type thing. I'm not saying you can't be interested in that, but that's not really who I'm reading for right now. I think a King of Wands has caught your eye, and that's why I think there's a lot of like apprehension on this person's end. Again, kind of like sending out signals to see how things are going to land with you, or maybe spying on you online, trying to see who else is in your orbit, so to say. Yeah, I'm sort of getting like you have your hands full with something else. And if you don't currently, it might indicate that there's a King of Wands coming into your life soon. And so, to be honest, Capricorn, I think you have to trust your gut. If this is something you want back, I think this person is totally into it. Your reading is unusual because a lot of it feels like the power rests with you. Like you ended it and this person is still going to crawl back into your arms. That sort of thing. This King of Wands, though, it feels like a different energy to me. Yeah, I don't totally feel like this person has done their healing work. It's almost like they want a quick solution or a quick fix because they miss you, but they may have missed the actual lesson attached to your guys' connection. And same for you. I mean, if this King of Wands isn't in your life, maybe there is the temptation to go back to something that you had lukewarm feelings for, but it's like, well, I don't want to be alone, or I don't want to feel this way, so okay, maybe I'll contemplate it or I'll consider it again. I would be cautious or careful looking for a quick fix or quick solutions. I think there's a chapter, or maybe not a chapter, but a period of healing tied to this connection for both of you. Some sort of difficult lesson that you sort of had to stomach and learn, you know? I do think that whoever this is, and maybe you have multiple people from the past, I do think there's a King of Wands coming in, so very likely someone who has strong Aries, Leo, Sag. I do think there's another suitor who really wants to be back in your life. You seem to be the one who's like, I don't know if I want to go down that road again. And I'm sure you have your reasons, right? You don't have to. I'm not here to tell you anything, right? Just reading the energies. So what would this person, the one who's maybe a little bit obsessed, or they got a taste of something they like, something about, I don't know. It is very like sexual by nature. Let's see. I wondered how far this would go. That's something about distance there too. And then I want to tell you so much. Yeah, they want to pour their heart out to you, but they're also sensing that they don't want to scare you away. You did not break me. And you didn't imagine it. And then I've been struggling. Yeah, they missed the shit out of you, Capricorn. Sorry. I know that's so romantic to hear, right? Yeah. So you have at least one option, if not two. So for my cross watchers, if this is making sense to you and you're like, if I come back into Capricorn's life, will they accept me? I don't think they're going to be welcoming. They might respond, but I think Capricorn has their eye on something else. That's my general vibe, or my general feeling in the cards currently. But these are weekly readings, so check back next week. We'll see what the vibe is next week. Thanks for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Bye, guys. All right, Aquarius. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Are they still into you? How about that person? What are they thinking about? Let's see. They're looking you up online. They're checking out your profile, your LinkedIn, your Facebook. They're seeing what's up with you and what's going on in your life. They like your butt. Did they comment on your butt? Your ass? Your cheeks? I don't know why that's coming through. Aquarius. All right, let's see. It's a heavy burden thinking about you. They're wanting to reach out and message you. This has come up a lot. People are like afraid to reach out. I don't know if this is gonna ring true, but it's almost like the people around them are telling them you have to aim higher. You know, don't settle. So and I don't know if this is going to make sense to you. I'm not necessarily saying this is accurate or true, but in their mind, they were trying to get you to commit or to be in something that maybe you had apprehension about or lackluster, or so something about it felt very much like they were giving away their power or lacking self-worth by trying to make it work with you. I think they've reached a point where it felt like they were trying to convince you to be with them. And so they had to move on, but they still wish things were different. They're trying to keep moving forward. They're trying to be positive. They're trying to look into the future, but you still creep up into their mind. That's sort of what I see. You may this might be someone who has strong Virgo or Sagittarius in their chart. They helped you a lot, though. They feel like they came in and either knight in shining armor or whatever, the equivalent of that. But it's like they feel like they did a lot of work for you. They may have even worked for you, or they helped you out with a lot of like manual labor. Like they helped you, or they helped you through a difficult period, and they felt like you didn't really acknowledge them for that, and so they felt a little bit used. They're maybe a little bit defensive, but they also, I don't know, they're still the memory of you. So what are the feelings here? I mean, they want to heal it. They recognize that there was trouble in paradise. They recognize that things were not perfect, that things were not ideal, but ultimately this very much feels like a peace offering. It feels like they wonder if you guys would be able to salvage what remains and make good on that promise to each other, or to come through and deliver what was promised, or to make some sort of significant change that would offer healing to the heart. They want to offer you their heart, quite literally. But with that, there's a peace offering or some sort of like addressing or acknowledging some sort of touchy issue or touchy situation that arose in your relationship together. So Ace of Cups, though, yeah, there's absolutely feelings there. Queen of Cups, yeah, so the assessment of, can we go back? Queen of Cups tends to be very focused on the past, though, too, so there's an interesting dynamic. It's like, I think sometimes they think they're better off moving on without you, but their heart is not allowing them to do that. So, like, mentally, they know the right choices to move on, but their heart is very stuck on the past, and again, very nostalgic about you, or romanticizing the good times, even though it wasn't all good. It wasn't all good, but I mean, you have two feeling cards, so I don't know who brought an end to this. I honestly don't know, but yeah, I mean, the wish fulfillment is that you're going to come back and it's like serve yourself up to them on a silver platter. Like, I'm yours for the taking. I've changed my mind and you're the one I want. They want you to be certain of that. And maybe you weren't at the time. And I'm not here to say that you need to fake that. And I know you won't because you're Aquarius, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's a huge part of them that wants you to come through as the knight in shining armor this time. And I sort of get the vibe they want you to be like, I changed my mind. I'm back. I'm here for good. Interesting. This person might live at a distance. Did I already say that? I don't know. There's something about arrows going back and forth. So anyway, all right. So will this person take action towards Aquarius? They absolutely have feelings for you. The Death card. Interesting. So major transformation. They've definitely cried some tears over you. This says to me you guys have a complicated past, a tricky past. Complicated. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. But ultimately, the Death card ushers in a new chapter. So if we're able to release and let go of things that are holding us back, weighing us down energetically, right? It could be emotions, it could be memories. If we're able to sever ties with them, however hard that may be, ultimately, we're making space for the good stuff, and I think that's what they want. So I think they're still embarking on this sort of narrative of elimination and really self-transformation, but I do see the sun. The sun is shining here, so it feels like things might warm up a little bit between you two in the future. Page of Wands. I feel like they already did reach out to you once and try and make amends, but maybe it happened too soon after you guys broke up or called it quits, or they tried to repair something too close to the actual incident where maybe, feelings were still kind of raw or the wounds were still fresh and it felt like they got rejected. Someone tried to fix this already and it was not met with welcome energy. And so they're second guessing or apprehensive if they should reach out again. This might involve a Scorpio as well. Because there's a side of you, Aquarius, and again, you might not agree. This is from their perspective. There's a side of you that can be a little bit cold or a little bit detached or a little bit savage. Take no prisoners, especially with your words. Your words are very powerful and very deep and very cutting. So if you did lay into them once out of anger, those are wounds that they're still recuperating from. Even if you said it very just off the cuff, you were angry, you were heated, you said things you didn't mean. Whatever you said cut deep and they remember. So if you did give them any sort of criticism or highlighted an area where they were failing or flailing or not doing well, they remember that, and it left a very heavy wound in their heart. But I'm also sort of hearing you weren't wrong though either. You called them out on something, and it didn't feel good at the time, but it has made them go through some major assessment of themselves and their life and what they want, and maybe how they show up in relationships. I don't really know. This isn't being super clear in regards to, like, I hate to say who's the bad guy and the good guy. It's very vague about who did what or who ended it or who chose to walk away. Others were a little bit more clear cut. So this, it could go either way. I mean, this could be you as well too, especially if it's being bombarded with cross watchers, right? This is someone who's on a journey of independence, though, getting themselves to be the best version of themselves, getting their life back, focusing on work, really leaning into self-love, self-worth, that sort of thing, making slow and steady progress, but it hasn't been easy, and kind of amping themselves out to embrace the next chapter with more confidence, with more zest and enthusiasm and pizzazz. I said something similar to Capricorn. Somebody in this may have been a little bit too quiet or a little bit too meek or a little bit too detached. And that may have been a little bit of a put off or a turn off rather to the other person. It's like, I want you to sparkle. I want you to have confidence. I want you to let me know that you feel something. It's like, they wanted to sense the passion in you or vice versa. Feelings are absolutely still there. I think you are still their wish. I think this person is hoping you come back. But with this, it's a slippery slope. It's like you both have been through so much. So this is what it is. Are you both able to come back together and truly, truly forgive and let go of the past and things that were said and done, and really hit refresh, right? Hit reset and start again as a blank slate? Ideally, that's what would have to happen if this were to come together again. You can't hold them accountable for things they did in the past and vice versa. We have to let bygones be bygones, start fresh, and reinvigorate the passion. That seems to be easier said than done, though. So again, I like this week, I don't see much changing, but I do think if we allow this kind of death card to take route and really sort of change the landscape of what you guys are trying to do together, if you can leave the past in the past and have an open and honest conversation, and you have to both ask for what you truly need from this person, but then you also have to pass the mic and actively listen to what this person needs and what they're saying. Potential. There's potential. I don't love it, but it's not the worst reading, if that makes sense. So let's see what this person would say. Feelings are absolutely there, but again, feelings don't always match actions. So, don't tell me you love me, show me you love me, right? What would this person say? This current person, their energy, what would they want to express if they could do it without repercussion? Or let's see, you did not break me. Capricorn got that too. Are y'all dealing with a Capricorn? That makes me think of Pretty in Pink. Any Mollys out there, or Andrews or Blaines? Blaine. That's not a name, that's a major appliance. Right though, at the prom, it's like, I just want them to know they didn't break me. So she shows up looking like $1 million. Of course, it was the 80s with that weird pink dress she made. So I'm not sure it had the same effect. But anyway, there might be a Molly out there who's an Aquarius, or I don't know. Actually, Molly Ringwald is an Aquarius. Go figure. All right, sorry, rambling. You can't come with me. I'm getting all these movie quotes. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. You can't sit with us. That feels very like Mean Girls. You can't sit with us. I don't know. I love myself enough to walk away, and I know more than you think. Yeah, so I mean, not my most romantic cards. I think this person had to distance themselves from you because it hurt too much to be around you. I don't know if they felt like they let you down or you let them down. I think it went both ways. Again, I don't think anyone was perfect. I think you both look back and maybe after having spent some time thinking about this, I think you would have acted or done something differently, and I think they would have too, but it takes two to tango, right? So, I mean, ultimately, you both have to want this to come back together, and I do sense that maybe one person is more willing to put this to rest than the other, so right now there isn't equal feelings, so we'll see. That's what I got for you this week, Aquarius. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. All right, Pisces gang, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs in Pisces. Are they still into you? That person you're thinking about, the one that got away, the one you just can't take your mind off of. Let's see where their energy is at. if they still have feelings for you, and in any actions towards you, if any. Let's see. So how is their energy presenting? The person on Pisces' mind. What are they looking like this week? King of Swords. Let's see. Feels like you reached out to them and they're contemplating how to respond. They will respond. They will. They really had to think it through. They may have had to take a break to assess some important matters in their life. There may have been important contracts or, I don't know, legalities, maybe something with education or writing, something very studious, or it required a lot of their mental focus and their mental attention, so they didn't have time to respond. But they will. They think about you naked. That's my they think about you naked card. This might involve an Aquarius. Let's see. Something about, I mean, you yourself are a water sign, but there's something very sensual about like the water energy here. So you guys may have had a really strong physical connection, and a lot, like even like the cuddle time, like it was very like, pillow talk, something about that. If you guys, partook in such activities, that was very soothing to their senses. They liked being held by you or caressed by you or something, or I don't know. They do think about you. They definitely think about the physical connection, and maybe for some of you that's all it was. But it's almost like they're open to the possibility of it being more. What are the feelings? The Moon. All right, so you're showing up in the feelings sector, but they also feel a little bit of guilt, or there might be some sort of secret or something they hid from you, and maybe you already know what that was. Maybe it already came to light, but it feels like they need to open up to you about something and reveal something or tell you something. Now, I'm not necessarily saying it has to be like, I'm married or this or that. It's not that for a lot of you. It almost has to do with like something that it's about them personally. It's like an inner wound. It feels very Chiron related. It's like something in themselves that they never feel like they're quite good enough or they quite measure up to, or it could even be some sort of like a body issue or an illness or sorry, it's coming to me. It's like it's on the tip of my tongue. That sounded sexual. Pisces, sorry. What is the word I'm looking for? They have intimacy issues. Thank you, Spirit. They have intimacy issues, so maybe they're not always able to perform on cue, if you get what I mean. Like there's some sort of thing they need to reveal to you. There's some sort of heavy secret, but for them it's like they have to develop trust with you first before they share that side of you, because it's very intimate. It puts them in a very vulnerable position, and they've been rejected because of it in the past. It could even be something like they have an STD and like maybe they're careful about it, but it's that sort of like, I just want to be clear with you. Like, and I don't think they're trying to keep secrets from you. I think they only feel comfortable revealing this at a certain point. Maybe they miscarried once before. Like there's some sort of heavy secret. That's what I mean. I don't mean to make light of it or fun by any means. There's heavy energy attached to something. They've been single most their life, or it feels that way. They've had to be very independent. They've had to be very self-sufficient. They're not used to people being as generous in nature as you are, and as compassionate and understanding. Generally speaking, they didn't grow up around people who were emotionally in tune. They grew up with people who were emotionally inept, I'm hearing. Like there wasn't open conversations about emotion. So for them, that might be overwhelming, but in a lot of ways, you've sort of unlocked the door for them and shown them. It's like you've shown them that there's a different way of being. There's a different way of relating to one another by not denying those emotions, but by sort of opening up the floodgates and letting things free. And, happy tears as well as cathartic tears, being able to share more intimate things that do put this person in a vulnerable position. Because for a while that felt like a side of them that they had to button up, they had to zip up, or they had to hide. It's like they weren't revealing their true colors. For a lot of you, this even feels like, I don't know if it's a secret to you, but if this is a same-sex relationship, they might not be out to their family, or they might not be out to their friends. It almost has that vibe, like a deep-held secret, where that's what I mean. There's a lot of wounding attached to it. So for most of you, it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm cheating on my wife. It feels, I'm not saying that couldn't be the case for some of you, but for a lot of you, it's a deeper wound because it has a lot to do with their own authenticity and how their light has been eclipsed by the people around them, so they're not able to live their truth. So even if it's not, I don't know, there could be something about exploring bisexuality or something like that. That's sort of what I mean about revealing a secret to you about, it's in their DNA. It's something about who they are, and how they want to live their life, but they're not sure it's safe to express that around certain people because I think in the past they did and they were rejected for it. Something about your being, your waters are helping to purify them and clean them and it's very healing. It's very cathartic. Yeah, the Empress card has come up a lot in feelings. They hold you in very high regard. That's sort of what the Empress says to me. It is a Venus card, so there is love, there is companionship there is strong feelings, but it's slow and steady over time. Like, to me, it's such a Taurian energy, right? The land and whatever. So there's seasons of this. There's like a climate where maybe it started off really easily, and then it kind of like, the cold of winter arrived, and maybe they withdrew or pulled back their energy. There was maybe like a more of a harsher exchange or something like that. It does feel like seeds were planted, though. So I wouldn't be surprised if you did hear from this person again, because I think the emotions run very, very deeply. You might be dealing with Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus energy, Virgo maybe Aries. And okay, for one or two of you, there could be a thing about pregnancy. And I'm not saying that per se was the secret. Again, it's going to resonate differently for all of you. There is something to do with pregnancy. It might be that you're with someone who isn't able to have children, right? There could be a wounding around the topic of children or pregnancy. It could have been something to do with a miscarriage. It could have been childhood wounding, right? Something like that. Yeah, heavy stuff here, heavy stuff. But I do think that the message here is that you allow this person a safe place, a safe space to emote, to be vulnerable, and to say the thing that it's very hard for them to say, but they feel like they want to say it around you or express it around you because you don't judge them for it. You don't punish them for it. You're very warm and open-hearted. This could also be a situation where the person you're dating, they're giving you hot and cold messages. And I just have to say, for some of you, they're hot and cold because they feel like they should like you, and they do like you, but they don't know why they don't love you. But they're starting to recognize it's because they're interested in a different gender. That's sort of what I'm getting from this. If the bisexuality doesn't feed into this for all of you, and it won't for all of you, it does feel like someone rejected something too fast. And I think it's because they got scared, or they got shy, or they immediately realized that they were putting themselves in a position to be vulnerable, and they don't trust that. They have severe trust issues opening up, so if they started to reveal part of themselves, it feels very water sign energy, like they immediately went back into like their crab shell, or their scorpionic, tail came a whipping because they needed to defend themselves against, to protect themselves ultimately. This person doesn't like having a lot of eyes on them. They prefer to remain a wallflower or in the background because to them attention is scary. Again, being put on some sort of platform or pedestal where people can see them, it makes them susceptible to criticism. They're very, very sensitive, Pisces. No wonder you like them. They're sensitive like you. They're sensitive in ways, though, that you don't fully realize, because I think some of you wrote them off as a little bit cold or detached. And that's anything but true. Again, it feels very like metaphors of Cancer. It's like the tough crab shell, but underneath it's like they're a ball of mush. But they've been taught it feels very much like boys don't cry mentality. Like they were taught, you don't cry in front of people. You don't do that. They may have had like psychologically, abusive or verbally abusive parents, or someone in a mentorship or a leadership position really shook them to their core. And so, yeah, they swallow a lot of the emotions, but it's been so bottled up. And I don't know if you were witness to the sort of volcanic eruption of emotion, but it feels more like tears, like suppressed emotion. I don't know if you witnessed it and you were there for that, but it did happen because of your impact. So maybe you never saw those tears, but it's like by this person meeting you, it's like I don't know if triggered is the right word. It was meant to happen. There was a jolt they felt. They felt some sort of like overwhelm, and it tapped into some sort of like old wound, and they were finally able to like release some of the emotion that they bottled up. And I think they look at you like, wow, like that was kind of like a transformational connection, because it, in a lot of ways, it helped them, but it was grieving work, right? It wasn't necessarily easy and sunshine and rainbows, but very necessary. Metaphorically, it's almost like you brought them back to life. There was a numbness about them. I don't mean to like put you up on a pedestal of like savior or, Christ-like figure. I don't mean it to sound like that, but there's something about you breathe new life into them. there's something about the breath work or losing one's breath or feeling like, metaphorically, it's like feeling like they're drowning. This person could have even had a traumatic experience during their childhood where they almost drowned in water or something like, I don't know what this is about, Pisces, but my goodness, it's a very heavy reading. This is literally you coming to their aid and nourishing them. It felt very lonely. It was like a lonely path for them, and meeting you, it released something in them that sort of, it set them off on this journey of like healing and soul work. And so I think they're incredibly grateful to you, even if they haven't expressed that yet, because they're still getting comfortable with whatever this new path is that they're on. Again, this is a person who shies away from being in the spotlight or the attention, but it's almost like, it's like you raised their vibration for them to realize that they're meant for so much more. They were ready to give up on something. And I don't even know if you realized the impact you had on them, but it was huge. You rescued them in some way. You saved them in many ways. Because this person knows that there's a battle they have to step up and fight for themselves. They can't be a passive bystander anymore. I just saw 1111. Yeah, it's like other people can't fight their battles for them, and it feels like they gave their power away. They gave their voice away to, again, figures of authority or for a period of time, and now it's like they're making up for lost time where they were a wallflower or they stood back and avoided confrontation. I do think this person wants to reconcile with you, or at least have a conversation and give you some sort of thanks or praise or recognition, possibly an apology. I do get the idea that this person may have ghosted you, though, or they may have sort of skirted away without explanation, and it probably did affect you, but this is the weird part. It affected them more. It was harder for them to leave you, and I know you might not be viewing that. You may kind of have some sort of a little bit of attitude or a little bit of like, you feel some type of way, like, why would they just do that? Like, I was so nice to them and they just up and left without explanation. It's because of the impact you caused. It's like you opened up a floodgate in their life and they were drowning in the emotions. So it's like they had to go sort those out. And I do think they're probably coming back around, but they know there's a difficult there's a difficult conversation in their future with you. I don't know if they're coming back for romantic stuff or just to acknowledge why they acted the way they did and give you maybe some sort of explanation. But I do think they're either going to apologize or they're going to thank you for how you helped them. There's passion there, but I almost think it feels very much like you held a torch and you helped to light theirs when their embers went out. And so it's like you reinvigorated them. It's like you breathed new life into them. So I don't know if this is going to, this feels very much self-sacrificial without necessarily your desire for it to be that, but you served a greater purpose. Like, this is getting all like honk if you love Jesus, which is not really my vibe here, but it sort of feels like you were the chosen one, Pisces. Like, you helped this person in their path, and so the reward will come to you, but you might not understand what this connection is right now because it was so much bigger than just you and them. Whew, it feels big. Leaving you hurt me too. That's what I mean. Like, I know that this person probably ghosted you or didn't act in a high vibe way and you kind of resented them because it felt like you gave a lot to them. That being said, I don't think you hold a grudge though either, because I think you liked them and you saw value in them and wanted more of the connection, but just know it did hurt them to leave you. I understand you better now. I'm happy that it's over. Interesting. I don't know if that has to do with you though. I think this has to do with childhood wounds. And again, this newfound empowerment of needing to fight their own battles and speak their truth. And honestly, it's like, not meet your maker. It's like they have to face that person who put them in a corner and told them to be quiet. It probably a father figure or an authority figure. Even if that person isn't around, they have like soul work to do, forgiveness, forgiving themselves, forgiving, people who did them dirty and that sort of thing. I think they're happy to not be playing the victim anymore or to be put in the role of victim because you encourage them to do more with those feelings than just, the woe is me stuff. It's like you inspired them to do something more. Anything else thank you. I know I made a mistake. Interesting. And I hope you're happy. Yeah, I don't think this person meant to hurt you. I think that they did. But this is like a big reading, Pisces. True to form, you always have like the really spiritual, like intense reading. But This was meant to happen. This was karmic. This was fated. They were meant to meet you as like a mentor or a guide. Really, what you did, Pisces, you served as like guardian angel to them. And so it will come back to you tenfold. You need to have faith in that. But don't attach your end or your outcome to this person being in your life or not. If they're meant to be there, it'll happen. The universe will conspire to help bring you guys together again. But ultimately, this was about you kind of being of service. That's really what I feel from this. All right, Pisces. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next week for more tarot. Bye.